On a beautiful night for football, welcome to Ranger Stadium for the final non-district game of the season as the 2-0 Smithson Valley Rangers take on the 0-2 Round Rock Dragons. On the Rangers Network, I'm Brian Freeman, along with Tony Brubaker, Jeff Gandy, and our entire Rangers Network crew. Tony, the Rangers breezed by Austin Anderson last week, 56-0, and now tonight a chance to start the season 3-0 and take some momentum into the start of 27-6A play next week.
And the real neat thing was seeing the difference between week 1 and week 2 in the Rangers, how they came out more focused, more determined, more efficient, a little bit different opponent, but nonetheless they were strong and showed themselves strong throughout the game. And again, that will be what we look to see tonight, is can they do that same thing from week 2 to week 3 and keep that improvement going.
Still to come in our pregame coverage, a breakdown of tonight's matchup between the Rangers and the Dragons and a visit with Rangers head coach Larry Hill. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelic, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sandejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, HEB, GVTC, Wick Productions, Ferris Orthodontics, Summerhill Dental, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and Pizza Hut.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. Our pregame coverage continues. Week 3 this season, Smithson Valley taking on Round Rock. Tony, a look at the Rangers now, 2 games into the season. One of the biggest storylines we've been following early part of the year has been the play at quarterback led by Levi Williams. He made his first start 2 weeks ago tonight, led a come-from-behind victory over Pflugerville Hendrickson, and last week helped lead the charge behind a 56-point outburst against the Trojans.
And really, you look at his numbers, completion percentage really good, yardage not too much, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. The interception last week, I remember, just an ill-advised pass. Tried to throw somewhere that really wasn't there, but he was getting pressured and just got rid of the ball. And he'll learn not to do that as we get going. But I think his efficiency as a quarterback and his poise that he's displayed being a first-year starter has been remarkable.
Williams 9 of 12 passing last week of the win over Anderson for $113. But what really stood out from Smithson Valley's offense last week, Tony, was the ground game, 275 yards against Anderson. Everybody got involved, including Nick Aiken, the junior, 2 touchdown runs for him.
And he was just solid as we've seen him last year, that he's able to go into crowds and get yardage where it doesn't look like there is yardage. And he's just been a real playmaker on offense, and the Rangers need him to continue.
You look at the other side of the scoreboard, the 0 put up by Smithson Valley's defense against the Trojans. And you look at how the Rangers did that defensively, so many playmakers last week, and a player who was everywhere last Friday was at linebacker from the outside, and that's Jacob Zuber.
Yeah, Zuber is obviously, with a team-high 21 tackles, been the most efficient defensive player this year. But I think what you mentioned, the zero, that's with first-teamers, second-teamers, and third-teamers playing lots of snaps last week, and yet they kept that goose egg up there.
All right, Tony, now look at Round Rock. A year ago, we saw a really good football team there north of Austin. It was a 20-14 win for the Dragons over the Rangers, and fast forward to December, and Round Rock made it all the way to the region finals. 10 wins a year ago, but off to an 0-2 start this season. Why?
Well, they lost a lot of key seniors from a year ago, including a quarterback, a defensive end that was all-world, and just probably playmakers all over the field. And, we've heard their radio guy talk about Jeff Cheatham, their head coach, didn't realize it would be this bad. Well, right now they're struggling to find leadership.
You look at the play of the offense, and yes, Mark Reed was a quarterback from a year ago. And after giving the first couple of games to Reed Hammond, Trevor Waz will now start at quarterback tonight for Round Rock, only a sophomore. He has an experienced couple of running backs to hand the ball off to, namely Malik Pena, their leading rusher through 2 games, and a huge target to throw to as well. At 6'6" and 215, Garrett Miller.
Yeah, Miller, one of their leading receivers, some good distance, averaging 20-some yards a catch. It just depends on how much time he's going to have to throw, because poise will be his problem tonight, I think.
It's Smithson Valley, it's Round Rock, and it's coming up next. After this, we have more pregame coverage coming up as we visit with Rangers head coach Larry Hill. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, HEB, GVTC, Wick Productions, Ferris Orthodontics, Summerhill Dental, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and Pizza Hut.
Hey guys, Tyler Florence here. This season, the Great Food Truck Race is headed way down south. 7 teams navigating culinary roadblocks in a race to victory. Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready. Are you ready? I don't think they're ready.
Wow.
All new, Sunday night at 9, the Great Food Truck Race on Food Network.
Watch Food Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 563. GVTC, just plain smart.
All right. Well, coming up in week 3, Smithson Valley taking on Round Rock, the Dragons. This is the Rangers' final non-district test of the season. Round Rock a year ago won 10 games, a region finalist. This year, though, off to an 0-2 start, but against some tough competition. So far, Round Rock has played Clemens and Temple. And Coach, as I said, a year ago, Round Rock very good. They've been pretty good over the past several years, so we know they typically have a lot of talent. The 0-2 record not really indicative of who they are.
No, it isn't. We know how good and explosive Clemens Buffaloes are. As we bump heads with them every year, and of course, Temple, I believe, ranked number 3 in the state and is winning handily most weeks. And Round Rock is their start is very similar. Had a real close game with Clemens a year ago, won it last year, barely lost it this year. Lost to a really talented Temple team that went to the finals. They're not backing into their non-district schedule. They're playing some really good folks. They were a quarterfinalist team a year ago, as you said. A little bit like us, lost a lot of players, young team, kind of feeling their way around, kind of like we are. And it'll be one of the ultimate tests of our season. They are very sound. They're very well coached. They're not terribly flashy, don't want to be. This is how we line up, see if you can do anything about it. This is what we run, see if you can stop it. You're going to have to out-execute them. You're not going to outthink them, or in some way are they going to be deficient. So it's a challenging game for us.
I recall the game a year ago. Round Rock had a really good dual threat quarterback in Mark Reed, but he was a senior, so the Dragons are working in a new quarterback this year. The passing game has struggled so far, but the running game has been much more efficient. Malik Pena has been the most dependable tailback 2 games into the season. What do you expect to see from Round Rock's offense?
I think they're going to run the football. I think they will take the quick game and the underneath game as it's allowed. If you give it to them to stack in there and stop the run, then they'll take what's there. They're very well coached, do a nice job with their hard count cadence. They do a good job with their quick screen game, but ultimately it's going to come down, they're going to run it right at you. Defensively, they line up virtually one way most of the time, and They'll move a little bit when the ball's snapped, but here we are. Can you block us? Or here we are. Can you get open against us? And last 4 or 5 years under Coach Cheatham, the answer's been no a lot. So we'll have to play well. We'll certainly need to play better than we did a year ago. We turned it over a number of times, didn't play well early in the game, had a chance to come back and win it at the end, and fell short, mostly due to their efforts. But it'll be that kind of game again.
Yeah, you mentioned the defense a year ago, by the way, a couple of Division I players on that side of the football, although 9 of those 11 starters are now gone. As I mentioned earlier, this is your final non-district test. So obviously the goal of the game is to win it, but also you want to work out some final kinks before you start 27 6A play. In that regard, just how important is this game on Friday? Well, it is important. First of all, it's a game. You only get 10 of these. You work year-round for it, so it requires your best. But as you mentioned, a top caliber opponent, so that's going to require your best, and it is your final tune-up before you start playing games that count. And so we want to look good. We want to win. We want to sharpen up some areas. We want to stay healthy. You just want to keep pushing it forward a little bit, and I think we'll need to do that this week. And finally, Coach, what are the keys can you give us heading into the game on Friday? We need to take care of the football. A year ago, as I mentioned, we didn't up there, and it hurt us. And we need to play well early, I think, particularly defensively, and don't let them just continue to hold the ball and hold the ball and hold the ball as they work it down the field. And then when it's time to make those difference-making plays, whether it be an interception, a big kicking game play, or maybe an explosive run or pass, we're going to have our fair share of them, because you're not going to get them all the time against those guys. Well, Coach, good luck on Friday.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No, sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came here to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is.
Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart. When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh, so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never-frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so deliciously different.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium, ready to rock and roll here from Smithson Valley High School. Final game of non-district play for the Rangers. They are 2-0. Taking on 0-2 Round Rock. Smithson Valley, by the way, won the toss, and they have elected to receive. So we'll see Smithson Valley's offense to start tonight's game as Round Rock kicks off to the Rangers. Now, Tony, last week, Smithson Valley put Michael Hilson back deep to take a kickoff back in the second half, and he took it 97 yards back to the house.
And it was a remarkable play, and it shouldn't have happened that way. Some bobbled ball, a little bit of difference, some misplay, and all of a sudden the coverage just was not still lined up.
Conzillo kicks off for Round Rock and we're underway. Short kick, Woodard no chance to return. Here's an up-man Rios from the 25. He's across the 40 out of bounds. And Smithson Valley again with the threat of Trevon Merrick-Woodard back deep, works to the short field to open the game.
It seems like it's going to happen all year, Brent, that people just don't want to give him a chance to return it long, so they'll kick it everywhere but where he is.
Would you kick it to him?
No, sir.
No, not at all. So we get a look at Levi Williams making his third start as a Ranger. He is 2-0 so far in his young career. A JV player a year ago as a sophomore. Big shoes to fill. Josh Atkins wrapping up a 3-year career last year. 3 wide and 1st and 10 from the Ranger 42. Motion from Pierce. A pump fake by Williams. Throws Pierce's way across the middle. A dart thrown by Williams and close to the first down into Dragon territory, the 48.
Brent Hitchcock with the tackle, but Brent, exactly right. Pierce sat down right where he wanted to throw it, and he was covered. Hitchcock was right on his left shoulder. When he took a step inside away from him, that's when the throw was made and completed.
And they will give him it up for the first down, by the way. Good telling sign here. The Rangers through 2 games are averaging 40 points a game. Round Rock's defense giving up 37 points a game. On first down for the 48-yard line. Here is Frosch, the freshman. Inside the 45 and down to the 44-yard line, and Frosch is a bit slow to get up. And coming in to make the tackle there was Devin Sakahara for Round Rock. But again, right now, thoughts are with Frosch down to the field.
My guess is the way he landed probably knocked the wind out of him or something in that realm, because he landed pretty hard on his arm in the ball, I thought, because the defender landed right on top of him. But Sakahara is one of those seniors that's on this defensive team that you probably figured didn't play a whole lot last year because he didn't have good numbers. This year, he's doubled his tackle output because he had only 1 in 2 games before this.
But again, this defense for Round Rock has had a tough go of it so far. He mentioned the points per game they're giving up. They have no sacks through 2 games. They're giving up over 400 yards of offense through 2 games as well. And still down on the ground is Frosch with 11:17 to go in the opening quarter. No score. And again, boy, think about just how talented, how hard you have to work as a freshman to make varsity. Frosch has done that. Again, this time a year ago, he wasn't playing on Fridays. He was playing middle of the week for his 8th grade football team. 5'7", 195 pounds. Last week, good game against Anderson. 4 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Again, we don't speculate on this, but it's obviously more than just getting the wind knocked out of him, because there's a lot of attention being paid to him right now, and you just have to wonder, with that kind of a hit and laying as he did, what possibly could have happened at a negative. And I think they've motioned down to the emergency squad.
They may have. So I'll tell you what, with 11:17 to go in the first quarter, we'll step aside. No score. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelik, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sendejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
go. Tie ball game with just 2 seconds left on the clock, and the Rangers are looking to score. Here's a snap. Bayless, who is wide open down the near sideline. And he makes a catch at the 10, the 5, touchdown. My goodness, what a play, and the Rangers win.
Experience the best seat in every ballpark with MLB Network Strike Zone. There it goes! Catch baseball's biggest moments from around the league live on one channel.
You gotta be kidding me!
See the clutch hits.
It's a goner!
Great grabs.
Unbelievable!
And walk-off winners.
Game winner!
All without changing the channel.
Let's go home!
Bring home MLB Network Strike Zone. Tuesday and Friday nights, commercial-free all season long.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here and Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came in to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is.
Let's just get right to it. Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never-frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so deliciously different.
Welcome back to Ranger Stadium here on the Rangers Network. 11:17 to go, first quarter, no score. Right now, thoughts are with freshman running back Darlington Frash, just escorted off the field on a stretcher, and right now, Tony, the game seems secondary. Got to hope that he's okay.
Amen to that. I know the team will be greatly impacted if they're not careful here.
Out of the injury timeout, second down and 6 from the Round Rock 44. A pass is caught by Rios, angling left, breaking a couple of tackles into the secondary. It's the linebacker Sakahara who brings him down to the 36. Another Ranger first down.
You know, the frustrating part of that for Ricky Rios is he turned the wrong way initially, I thought. He kind of turned to his left and then went back to the right. He made 2 people miss a tackle before Sakahara got him, and if they don't tackle better than that, this is going to be a long night for Round Rock.
As we know, Rios was the hero against Pflugerville Hendrickson, caught the game winner with 8 seconds to go. First down for the 36, running play to the right, and it's Aiken up the middle. Nice game for him last week against Anderson. Churns out about 4 yards here to bring up second down and 6.
Kind of trying to watch their defense now and how they react to things, because I think that's going to be a real key, whether they're going to be able to slow Smithson Valley down.
Aiken averaging about 5.5 yards per carry through the season's first 2 games. 4 receivers here on second and 6. Snap to Williams on the keeper. Looking for room up the middle. He's got a little bit before he's turned back at the 28-yard line. as the helmet comes off a Round Rock defender. And loading it up right now was Will Lisenby. With a tough start to this game in terms of players going down. Lisenby, a senior. The Rangers saw him a year ago play for Lake Travis, part of that Cavaliers state championship team, transferring to Round Rock over the offseason. And right now he's in some pain down to the 28-yard line.
Sakahara has now been in on about 4 tackles.
Yeah.
Coming into the game with 1 tackle, you kind of wonder, you know, what was the deal? Has he not been healthy enough to play a lot of snaps? Because in, 5-6 snaps now, he's been on almost every play.
Right now, game situation, 10:06 to go here in the first quarter. This is still the first possession of the game for either team. Rangers faced with 3rd and 2 at the Round Rock 28-yard line. And right now, Will Lisenby, the team's leading tackler through 2 games, is down to the field.
Again, a short, less than 2 minutes of game time, and we've had 2 players down with injury, and that's something you really don't want to see on a Friday night in high school football.
Not a run-of-the-mill transfer either. Lisenby had over 100 tackles last year for that Cavalier football team, and now pops up. Good sign to see from their senior defensive player.
Especially if it was a leg or something like that, like we speculated, that he obviously just got nicked up and he's ready to go.
All right, Tony, I vote for no more injury stoppages from here on out, huh?
I agree.
Yeah. So the first 3rd down of the night coming up. Ranger football approaching the red zone at the Round Rock 28.
By the way, that last quarterback run, their defensive line has given nothing really for our offensive line to fear.
Woodard lined up wide to the right here on 3rd down and 2. He comes in motion, and he'll take the handoff. A block for Macon. Turns the corner for the first down. Inside the 20, still moving. Twisted down to the 10-yard line. How about the second effort by Trevon Merrick Woodard?
He's a special athlete to begin with, but I go back to their tackling is really not showing many signs of efficiency. They're reaching for arms and grabbing jersey instead of trying to tackle them, you know, from the waist down and get him off his legs.
Gain of 18 there for Woodard. 3 rushing attempts in the first 2 games of the season. 1 last week, good for a touchdown against Anderson. 1st and goal now from the 10. Handoff up the middle. Aiken is turned back at around the 8. Only a gain of a couple of yards. Cudzillo on the stop there for the Dragons. 2nd and goal coming up.
Yeah, Cudzillo, their free safety, is one of their leading tacklers. He's also caused a fumble and recovered a fumble, but he's got to be an enforcer on those runs up the middle because, you know, even with Sakara coming in from the outside, they don't have enough beef up front to really slow this offensive line down.
Woodard, the big target, standing at 6'2", 195, lines up wide to the right on 2nd and goal from the 8. Snap to Williams. Fakes the pitch on the play action. Has a man. Hunter running to the right side. He's in. Touchdown. Touchdown, Smithson Valley.
What a great design play. It was immensely important that you talked about Woodard being such a big guy there because they took their whole deep secondary with him as he went from right to left. Hunter came out and went into the right flat, and he was uncovered all the way to the end zone.
So a nice opening drive engineered by Levi Williams. A drive that goes about 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And the touchdown pass for Williams, by the way, 2nd this year. The only other one, the game winner to beat Hendrickson. PAT no good by Reed, and the Rangers settle for a 6-0 lead. 8:46 to go first quarter. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never-frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so deliciously different.
Welcome back to Smithson Valley High School. 8:46 to go first quarter. Rangers strike first as they march down the football field into the opening drive of the game. And it is a touchdown pass 8 yards out. Levi Williams to a Dorsal Hunter. Here's the kickoff from Reed. Returnable from the 6. And that's Ryan O'Keefe on the return. And he is dropped short of his own 20-yard line at his own 18. So Smithson Valley's first opening possession. They get a short kickoff as a result of short field. Tony Mason Reed there doesn't get the ball into the end zone, but deep enough where his coverage has a chance to come down and make a play.
And the Rangers' coverage was excellent last week as well. It didn't really matter where he kicked it. There was nobody that got past the 20, but 1 out of 10 kickoff returns. So that coverage unit was again solid on this first one tonight.
And here is a sophomore quarterback making his first career start, Trevor Waz for Round Rock. He's got 4 receivers in first down from his own 18. Flag is in. Might be illegal formation here against Round Rock as the play is stopped at around the 20-yard line, the run by Pena. And this will be the first penalty of the game. And that is the call. We'll turn this from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 for the young quarterback, Trevor Waz.
Really hard to tell. The man in motion kind of froze, and it just didn't look good from any part to it.
Well, again, we talked about this in the pregame. A really good dual-threat quarterback a year ago in Mark Reed led this program to 10 wins in 2016. The Dragons gave first shot at quarterback to Reed Hammond, but he struggled. And here is Waz on his first play. A nice one across the 20-25, and they'll mark him out of bounds, 27-yard line. That's not a bad first play for the sophomore quarterback. Gain of 14 at 2nd and 1.
And really, if it's not for Matt Kolensberger, who got him out of bounds before the first down, he might have kept going because the containment on that side was not very good.
Yeah, Reed Hammond passing 13 of 31 in 2 games, 165 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. Screen play to Miller, the big target across the 30, and tripped up by Zuber at the 34. 6'6", 215, you can't miss him.
He looks more like a tight end than a wide receiver because he is a big target.
I got to imagine with that size, his talent, he might have a shot at playing on Saturdays. Option play to the far side this time, and the tailback is across the 40 to the 43. Marquise Brown, the junior, big campaign a year ago as a sophomore, just shy of 1,000 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, and picks up 9 yards. Quick snap, screen play. Read nicely by the Ranger defense. Mason Pierce, the tackle of Titus Dunk, who's dunked back at the 39-yard line to set up 3rd down and 4.
The no huddle was working well for them because of their ability, I think, on offense. They have some guys that have some quickness to them, and the more they moved quickly, the more they got to the edge. They're just trying to out-athlete Smithson Valley right now and get to the corners quickly.
First 3rd down of the night for this young quarterback, Trevor Waz. And there in the slot is Miller, a catch earlier in the drive. Brown comes slowly in motion. Waz kind of bobbled the snap, the handoff. Pena slips a couple of tackles, and then is buried down around the 39-yard line. No gain, and Smithson Valley's defense bends a little bit on Round Rock's opening possession, but doesn't break, and the Dragons will punt.
Did see some good signs on their offense. They were able to complete some passes and to have some efficient movements on offense, so we'll have to see as the game goes along if the Ranger defense can adjust.
Out to punt, by the way, is Miller. Averaging about 37 yards a punt so far this year. And a familiar face back to return, Trevon Merrick Woodard. It's a deep punt, and Woodard will field it, and he will return. Slips 1 tackle at the 15. Cutting it outside of the 25 to the 30. Still at his feet across the 40-yard line. Breaking more tackles. Trevon Merrick Woodard finally brought down at the 44. Not the player you ever want to put the ball into the hands of if you're the opponent. Round Rock plays with fire there.
It was an excellent punt, and coverage wasn't bad. They just didn't make tackles, Brant. 2 different guys were right there to put a hand on. In fact, one of them got a pretty good hand on him and just couldn't bring him down.
So this
for good reason.
This will be Smithson Valley's 2nd possession. Both have started now tonight across their own 40-yard line.
Makes the game a lot easier if you only have to go 55 yards versus going 80 or 85.
Approaching the halfway point of the first quarter, Rangers in front 6-0. Williams works with 2 receivers on first down. It is a running play to Aiken. Nice burst inside of midfield. And has dropped it around the 49-yard line. Late flag is in. Towards the end of the play, there was 2 players engaged well into the secondary. Trey King at safety for Round Rock and one of the Ranger receivers, I believe it was Rios, and we'll check the marker. It's a face mask against Round Rock.
Yeah.
Face mask on the defense.
Well, Tony, you're 0-2. You're the underdog coming into this game. And you've committed a couple of penalties here this opening quarter. You punt to Woodard. You're giving away short fields. Not the recipe to, play the role of underdog and pull off an upset.
And really, the punter had pressure on him, to do something different. You don't know if they want to aim the ball away from him, but they weren't very good at that.
And so the Rangers again knocking at the doorstep here, the red zone at the Round Rock 34. 3 wide for Williams. Play action, rollout pass caught by Pierce. Mason Pierce slipping through a tackle inside the 20. He's still running, cutting it left, slips another tackle, spun down finally at the Round Rock 16-yard line. This for a player who was at cornerback a year ago, making moves like a veteran wideout.
Michael Bell finally chased him down, but I think he might have been the 9th or 10th different Dragon that got a hand on him. He just made the tackle.
Gain of 18 for Mason Pierce, 6 catches this year. And the Rangers holding a 6-0 lead, marching inside of the 20-yard line. Woodard in the slot here on 1st and 10. Keeper for Williams has a lot of room up the middle. Inside the 5 to the end zone. Is he in? They're going to mark him inside the 1. What a physical run there by the junior quarterback, Levi Williams.
We've said a lot of things about him this year, how much poise he's played with, how much accuracy, how much strength his arm has. I don't think we've said how tough he is, and that was a nice, tough run.
You go back to the Week 1 game at Hendrickson, everybody points to the 4th and 8 conversion, 8 seconds to go. That play doesn't matter if Williams doesn't score on a 3rd and goal run from the 8-yard line to possession prior.
That is correct.
So goal to go from the 1. Motion from Aiken. Keeper for Williams. He'll dive, and he caps off the drive himself with a rushing touchdown, his 2nd this year. And the Rangers offense is rolling here in Week 3.
When you dive over the top as a quarterback, as a running back, where your biggest fear is where you're going to land. He landed on blue jerseys because there were no white ones that were there. And that was really an interesting part of the end of that play.
On for the PAT is Reed. If you recall, he did miss his first try earlier. Only his 3rd career PAT miss in 51 attempts. This one is good. 4:31 to go first quarter. It's all Rangers. Smithson Valley 13, Round Rock nothing. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas produce department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. 4:31 to go first quarter. All Smithson Valley Rangers in front 13-0. The kickoff, though, from Reed goes out of bounds. So Round Rock will have some good field position to open their 2nd drive of the game. Speaking of drives, the Rangers marched 50 yards in 4 plays. and the drive ending with a 1-yard touchdown lunge by Levi Williams.
You know, Mason Reed has had a really good start of the season, but right now in the first quarter, he's had some miscues with the missed extra point and then the kickoff that goes out of bounds. Both kickoffs have come to this side, so they're obviously trying to keep it on this side of the field. You kind of wonder what's happening with his accuracy right now.
And by the way, a nightmare of opening quarters continues for Round Rock. Coming into the game tonight, outscored in the first quarter this year, 31-3. Now that number is 44-3. Here's Waz from his own 30-yard line. And he'll keep it himself. Turn to the corner, and then is slammed down by Woodard. Boy, how about that play? You talked about his punt returns, defending receivers at cornerback, making plays offensively, but that was one of the better tackles we've seen by Woodard this season.
And it's a great play by Trayvon, but their blocking on the edge has been much better than any blocking up the middle. They've been able to seal linebackers on the edge a couple of different times.
2nd and 8 from the 32. It's an option play. Waz will keep it, trying to cut it back up the middle, and will make 3rd down manageable here after that run to the 37-yard line. Gain of 5 will bring up 3rd down and 4.
And again, good quickness to the corner that time by Waz, as Keeler was there, and he just out-quicked him to the outside and got the 5 or 6 yards he got.
Well, I mentioned opening quarters. How about last week? Smithson Valley led 21-0 at the end of one against Anderson. On 3rd and 4, a run play up the middle for Pena. Nice run on his part, and he's able to turn it up for the 1st down to the 40-yard line. Again, Pena, despite Round Rock's offensive struggles, has been a good player this year, averaging just south of 7 yards per carry. Ran for over 100 yards against Temple last week, and there picks up the 1st down.
Decent size at 5'10" and 205. He's a tough-looking runner.
Approaching 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Rangers on top 13-0. 3 wide and 1st down from the 40 for Waz. Running play up the middle, Marquise Brown. A burst across the 45 and down to the 47-yard line. And now this Round Rock running game in a rhythm.
And 2 times in a row they've gone up the middle, and again, no huddle.
3 receivers again, and Miller the big target in the slot. But dropping the snap is Waz and has to fall into football back at the 43-yard line.
Low snap, tough to handle, trying to get it to the running back right away, it looked like to me, and ended up just being unable to handle it.
So now what was 2nd down and about 3 yards becomes 3rd and 7 for Round Rock. A passing down Tony for an inexperienced quarterback, not a good combination.
I would be surprised. I'm really going to be surprised if they don't try running the ball on the edge. I think that's where most of their success has been tonight.
Through the first 2 games of the season, Round Rock only averaging 83 yards of passing per game. 3rd and 7. Off the play fake, Waz will throw, finds Miller, a good target to throw the ball to, but pushed it out of bounds by Gibbons, short of the marker. A flag was in any way, and I believe this is another illegal formation against Round Rock, forcing, I believe, 4th down coming up.
Not so sure they didn't cover up a receiver, but I don't recall right now, but something didn't look good. My guess is Larry Hill will take the play because it'll be 4th down.
Yes, sir. He'll do just that. It'll be 4th down at about 3 to go. And Round Rock, boy, I know you're probably tempted here. It's 4th and 4. It's manageable to get the yardage, keep this possession going. But if you don't get it, you are giving Smithson Valley great field position again.
Well, I'm tempted to go.
You would be tempted to go.
I am. I mean, nothing's going right for you. You're down 2 touchdowns.
Nothing to lose.
You're struggling.
Yeah.
You're 0-2. Let's go see if we can. Yeah, they moved on the line.
So now, Tony, what would you do?
Well, I'd punt now.
Okay, all right.
If it's 4th and 9, yes.
If you said that you were going to go for it again.
Oh, no. Is that on Smithson Valley? Smithson Valley jump?
Actually, yes, that is the call. So it's against the Rangers and a 1st down via penalty here for Round Rock.
I was going to say good things happen, but there's nothing that you just got lucky there, didn't you?
And so back out comes the offense for the Dragons. Last week in their game against Temple, they were held to 14 points. Round Rock again 0-2 in the year, trying to get up off the mat here tonight. From the 49, off the play fake, and the Rangers read the play. It is a completion to the far side, though, to Brown. His third catch this year is good for a yard to bring up 2nd and 9.
Brady Chubb has had a really good senior season. This is his third game already, nearing the 10 tackle mark. I think he's been real active and continues to play well for this defense.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, and Round Rock looking for something in offense. The deepest they've been so far tonight. And this time, Waz working out of the pistol. There's motion from Brown on 2nd and 9. Inside handoff to Pena, breaking a couple of tackles and lunging forward to the 41. 7-yard pickup makes 3rd down very manageable here for Round Rock.
I'm telling you, he's a load. Rangers are wrapping him up and having a hard time bringing him down with just one guy.
I formation here. How often do you see that in high school football these days? And on 3rd down, the Rangers are unable to get the stop. But I'll tell you what, though, the spot of the football, I think they actually did bring him down just short of the marker to gain, and it's going to bring up 4th and 1.
Coleman'sberger came in and wrapped him up and kind of spun him around, but he stayed on his feet and took another couple of Rangers to come in there and finally knock him down just inside the 40, and there looks like the yard to go is a 39.
All right, Tony, so here, yes, I would go for it on 4th down. And they are. 4th at a yard at the Ranger 40-yard line. Was the handoff, and Brown is twisted down. Spot of the football. I don't think he got it. He needed the 39. I think he's at the 39.5-yard line.
Jacob Zuber was the man on the spot, and they're going to measure, but Brand, that was a great play by Zuber to come and wrap him up and throw him down. The spot looks very favorable from what we saw from up here, though.
But again, looking at where the football is right now, where that yard marker is, the far sideline, they're going to call for the sticks, but I don't think he got it. What do you say?
Well, I'm guessing he didn't also, but I'm guessing it's just by an inch or two that he didn't.
And the measurement says he did not. Inches off the spot, and the Rangers defense forces a turnover on downs.
And I'm telling you, that looked like a very favorable spot from what we thought again, and it's just missed it. But a good stop for the defense and a good momentum stop.
And now under 30 seconds to go in this first quarter, Rangers on top 13-0. You heard Tony talk about the running game for the Dragons. You know, despite the fact there's nothing on the scoreboard for them, they've been able to run the football decently here in the opening quarter. And this is a ground attack that was rated as the best in the 13-6A district coming into the season. First down, play fake, and Williams wants to go deep. He's got Woodard in stride. 20, 10, and he's gone. Touchdown, Trevon Merrick-Woodard, and the Rangers' route continues.
It just, you know, you always wonder how many plays and what plays Trevon will be out there. A quick turnover, you know, a 4-down turnover, you put him out there, you line him up, you tell him to go, and you throw the ball as far as you can, and you get a touchdown.
First reception, touchdown on the air for Trevon Merrick-Woodard, adding up to his gaudy numbers as a Ranger, all 3 phases. Third PAT attempt tonight for Reed. He's 1 for 2 so far. And now Reed is 2 for 3. 17 seconds to go, opening quarter, all Smithson Valley. Rangers 20, Dragons nothing. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, HEB, GVTC, Wick Productions, Ferris Orthodontics, Summerhill Dental, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and Pizza Hut.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. Smithson Valley on a roll. 3 offensive possessions so far, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdown passes by Levi Williams. The last one, a bomb to Trevon Merrick-Woodard, sandwiched around the 2 passes. A touchdown run by Williams, and he's having himself a night.
He is indeed, and that the poise and the composure and everything about being a moxie quarterback is continuing to grow.
his numbers so far, 5 of 5 passing, 95 yards, the 2 scores, and on the ground, 21 yards rushing and a touchdown. This kickoff is fielded on a roll at the 20-yard line, and the returner's across the 40 to cross midfield. Kicker to beat, and Reed is able to beat him. The tackle of the returner just inside the 25 and down to the 24-yard line. Mason Reed's had kind of a tough night, but there makes a nice touchdown-saving tackle.
He did indeed. He kept the angle right, kept running hard, and got there.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a nice return by the Dragons, and now setting up 1st and 10 at the Ranger 24-yard line. Maybe time for one more play here in this first quarter. Last possession for the Dragons ended in a turnover on downs. Brought in motion on 1st and 10 for the 24. On the run, Pena cutting it to his right, breaking a tackle inside the 10. Another impressive run by Malik Pena, setting up goal to go for the Dragons when we come back. 12 minutes in the books from Ranger Stadium, all Smithson Valley. It's the Rangers 20 and the Dragons nothing. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never-frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so deliciously different.
Experience the best seat in every ballpark with MLB Network Strike Zone.
There it goes!
Catch baseball's biggest moments from around the league live on one channel.
You gotta be kidding me!
See the clutch hits.
It's a goner!
Great grabs.
Unbelievable!
And walk-off winners.
Game winner!
All without changing the channel.
Let's go home!
Bring home MLB Network Strike Zone. Tuesday and Friday nights, commercial-free all season long.
Ready for the start of the second quarter here from Ranger Stadium. Smithson Valley commanding 20-0 lead, but the Dragons right now threatening. They've got goal to go inside the 10. And now a change of quarterback here for Round Rock, and keeping it himself and down to the 6-yard line is Jordan Smart, also a sophomore, like the starter Trevor Waz. The tackle made by Gibbons for Smithson Valley sets up 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Gibbons did a great job of making contact and wrapping him up, and then as he tried to squeeze away, Gibbons wouldn't let him go.
And that a designed quarterback keeper. Smart, the better athlete, was in there for the one packaged play. Comes out and was now back in at quarterback.
They're both pretty good athletes.
2nd and goal from the 6. Brown again comes in motion. It's an option play, and the quarterback keeps it. Was, and boy, he is drilled. How about Jacob Johnson coming in? Shooting right through and brought him down inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line. Another touchdown-saving tackle made in this game by a Ranger, and it's 3rd and goal.
They're making big plays when they have to, and that's really what a good defense does.
3rd and goal from the 3. High formation again for Round Rock. Williams will hand it off to his right is Pena, and he has stood up. Great pursuit of the football, and again Johnson on the play for Smithson Valley. Also coming in was Colmansberger, and now Tony, maybe a decision here for the Dragons. 4th and goal from the 3. You're down 20-0. What does 3 points get you right now?
I'm telling you what, I call a timeout, and I ask my coaches, can we make 3 yards? And I don't think it's up the middle. I think it has to be on the edge. They've focused on middle runs here down in the inside the 10, and I don't think they've had much success.
Well, that said, Coach Cheatham does send out the field goal unit. So here is David Cudzillo to try from 20 yards out. Was on the hold. The kick is up by Cudzillo, and the Dragons are on the board, courtesy of a great kickoff return and a nice run by Pena. And 3 points later, it's now 20-3 in favor of Smithson Valley. 10:05 to go, second quarter. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and is hand-battered fresh so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. 10:05 to go until halftime. Smithson Valley angling for a 3-0 start of the season. Round Rock trying to avoid falling to 0-3. But right now the Rangers have the advantage, 20-3 on the scoreboard. However, moments ago, the Dragons getting onto the board, courtesy of a 20-yard field goal hit by David Cazzillo.
And a couple of good offensive runs by the Dragons has to wake up Smithson Valley a little bit defensively and realize that this game is not out of control yet.
Woodard and Rios are back deep for the Rangers. And Cazzillo kicks off short. It is to Rios from the 17. Across the 25 and the 30. Down the sideline. Inside of midfield is Rios. Pushed it to bounds out around the Round Rock 40-yard line. Another short field for Smithson Valley's offense.
And again, there's someone there for the Dragons to make the play. They just aren't making it. And Rios did a nice job of squirting outside just when he needed to, and then tried to outrun the last couple of guys and couldn't do it as Trey King was there to push him out of bounds.
Well, the kick coverage so far in this game, both teams not great this evening.
Not as good as we've seen.
And so for the fourth time tonight, here is Levi Williams. Again, he's been pretty perfect so far through the game's first 14 minutes. For the Round Rock 42 on first down. His last pass, a touchdown to Woodard. This is a run and a flip to Pierce. He's got a blocker, Williams out front. Inside the 30-yard line and dragged down at the Round Rock 28. The Rangers there diving deep into the playbook, and it yields a first down.
Yeah, nice looking reverse as they sold it really well. Pierce had snuck in from the backside, and when he got to the corner, just had one or two guys in front of him, and that was Hitchcock that did, and he made a nice play on him.
We've known this over the years. If you're going to be a Ranger receiver, you better learn how to run the football effectively in running plays.
Indeed.
From the Round Rock 28, first down, snap to Williams. Running play at the middle. Boy, a nice job by the defender coming in to make the play there for the Dragons defensively. It's Ashton Miller, a junior linebacker, on the stop of the ball carrier. And that was Diego Cervantes for Smithson Valley, and it sets up 2nd and 9.
Miller's their leading tackler with 21 on the season and did a nice job there of plugging the hole. They haven't done that enough this year. Or tonight, I'm sorry.
Should note, by the way, that again, early in the game, Will Lisenby left, the linebacker for Round Rock. We haven't looked for him, but I do wonder if he's had a chance to return to the game. We'll be sure to look out for him. From the 28 on 2nd down, Williams pressured, a flag flies in, and he is blasted down to the 25. And again, that's Miller's on the tackle there for the Dragons, but we'll check the flag. And that one's going to take Smithson Valley back a few yards.
All of a sudden, and I don't know if it's because their offense got some energy, their defense seems to have a little more energy on that front 4 or 5 guys. They played that 3-4, and a couple of them are really starting to rush the quarterback much better than we've seen.
And again, getting to the quarterback has been an issue for the Dragons this season. No sacks through their first 2 games, and last week, Temple's quarterback had a field day against this defense. TJ Rumfield, 11 of 13 passing. 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Levi Williams is kind of picking up where he left off.
They do have one quarterback hurry, though.
That is true. 2nd down and 19. Play fake for Williams. He has protection and a receiver inside the 25, and that's Pierce. What a dart thrown by Williams right to Pierce to the 23. 15-yard pickup there, and now, Tony, you've made 3rd down, again, manageable.
Great throw by Levi, but I'm really curious as to why Ricky Rios and Pierce ran the same route 5 yards apart, because Rios cleared before him, and as Pierce came behind him, the defenders seemed to be bunched up because they were both going in the same place.
4 wide for Williams here on 3rd and 5 of the Round Rock 23. And again, Trevon Merrick-Woodard, big playmaker tonight and really throughout his career, is lined up in the slot. Williams will throw it and has a receiver. Nice throw again from Williams. Perfect tonight, now 7 for 7, and that completion is good for a first down to Brance Anderson.
I don't know if you saw it on the top side. That was a wide receiver screen being set up for Woodard up on top, and that set all the, it was one-on-one coverage down here in the bottom for Anderson.
A gain down to the 18-yard line. It is 1st and 10 now inside the red zone. The Rangers offense so far, 3 possessions. This is their 4th, and they have 3 touchdowns. Same formation here in the same order. Anderson lines up wide left, and the same 3 receivers to the right. It's a running play for Woodard with a stiff arm and a couple of broken tackles, and then he is thrown back at the 15. 3-yard gain there for the Rangers star. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Not a bad designed play. It's just that there were a lot of defenders down here on the short side of the field, and it was the short side of the field. Sometimes you get a seam in there you can get through, but that time too many defenders in his way.
You think Gary Patterson's excited about having Trevon Merrick-Woodard play for him one day?
He better be. He better be.
Well, those TCU Horned Frogs, by the way, off to a good start this year.
They are.
What at Arkansas last week? 2nd and 7. Here's the rush. Williams rolls out to his right, pursued by Sakahara, and he will keep it himself and skirt out of bounds. He had to run about 40 yards to pick up about 8 there in the play, but he got it, and I believe enough for the first down.
His design was to get a first down there because one of his receivers in the corner had spun open, which would have been a great touchdown look if he could have thrown it to him, but he was designed on getting that first down.
Tony, you and I were impressed by Williams, in a drama-filled game in week 1. You saw him last week against Anderson, managed his offense very well. Passing numbers were efficient. Week to week, he's getting better and better.
There's no doubt about it. His maturity level has just grown immensely through the first couple of games this season.
Coach Hill calls for timeout with 6:43 to go here in the first half. By the way, the spot of the football is just short of the first down, so it's going to be about 3rd and inches coming up. Rangers on top by 17 points. Now, again, district play starts next week, and the Rangers, boy, off the bat, they're at Litoff taking on the Steel Knights. You look at the offenses so far, Tony, early part of the 2017 season, 4 of the district's 8 teams have already scored 50 or more this year. Half of the district is averaging well over 40 points per game. 2 teams have scored 60 or more already, New Braunfels and Judson. The bottom line here is you got to be able to keep up with some of these teams, and defensively, you got your work cut out for you.
There's no doubt about it. There is a lot of effective offensive play so far in the district, and we always think this district's one of the toughest one, and I think this year will be nothing but.
New Braunfels last week, 69 in their annual rivalry game against Seguin. And in week 1, Julon Williams, a star quarterback at Judson, he led the Rockets to a 65 spot against Lake Travis.
Yeah, the amount of points being put up is just, it's remarkable.
Out of the timeout, 3rd and short from the 8. Williams off a play-action fake. Rolls right, trying to find some room to run, and Round Rock, great pursuit. Staying him up with the 10, and he'll lose yardage. Give Round Rock's defense credit, Tony. They haven't given much resistance all night, and there with 3rd and inches, Rangers go to the passing game as opposed to trying to run for the first down, but they read it perfectly.
And we talked about how much pressure that the Rangers might put on Waz tonight as the immature quarterback. The Dragons are trying to put a lot of pressure on Levi Williams and not give him a quick look.
Well, here is Reed, 5 career-made field goals. 1 this season, this from 27 yards out. And the kick, a boomer right through the pipes, and gives the Rangers an even 20-point lead. 5:59 to go, second quarter, Smithson Valley 23, Round Rock 3. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network. Here we go, tie ball game with just 2 seconds left on the clock, and the Rangers are looking to score. Here's a snap. Bayless, who is wide open down the near sideline. And he makes a catch at the 10, the 5, touchdown. My goodness, what a play, and the Rangers win. And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. Another beautiful night for football. Nightfall upon us here in Spring Branch as we approach the halfway point. In fact, we're there in the second quarter. 23-3. Rangers on top. 5:59 left until halftime.
One of the markers of this team through 2.5 games has been kick coverage. We'll see if they can do it again.
Here's Reed's kickoff. This one is deep into the end zone. And again, there is a slight breeze from the back of Reed there, going from right to left, so aiding that ball a little bit. Nice kickoff, though, and the Dragons start at their own 25-yard line.
That makes kick coverage real good when you kick it through the end zone.
That'll help. Again, Round Rock's last possession ended in a field goal of their own. Although Smithson Valley's defense, faced with 3rd and goal inside the 5, got to stop, forcing that field goal attempt. As we see Waz and the offense come back out for the Dragons. They won this game a year ago, 20-14 in Round Rock. From the 25, and a quick penalty marker to start this drive for the Dragons.
Looked like a false start on the line.
That'll back it up to make it first down at 15. In that game last year, if you recall, Round Rock was the one that played the role of aggressor, jumped out to 14-0 lead. It was a tough night for the Rangers offensively. They committed 3 turnovers. Josh Atkins threw 2 interceptions in that game.
It was not the best night for the Ranger offense, for sure.
But that, again, was a really good Dragon team. From their own 20, 1st and 15 now. Empty backfield for Waz. And the Rangers bring in the house. A deep pass is caught by Miller inside of midfield. And a touchdown-saving tackle again made by Smithson Valley. Good ball thrown by Waz. Great catch by Miller. And a big play for the Dragons.
In a tough situation there was Zuber on coverage, and that's a big, tough receiver for your linebacker to cover.
Miller's having himself a night tonight for the Dragons. From the Ranger 40, it's an option. A late pitch to Brown. Sliced down by Woodard. Second time we've called his name tonight, where he's making a play from about 15 yards out from his starting position at the inception of the play.
Yeah, you'd say that. He's only had 3 tackles coming into this game, but he's made 2 big plays, shutting down a would-be good game.
By the way, see now in the Rangers secondary, along with Woodard and Pierce, Greg Eggleston, the sophomore, playing at corner for Smithson Valley. And Woodard has moved to safety here. Pierce is the other corner to the opposite side.
Woodard's probably on Miller then.
2nd and 12, flag is in. This will again be against Round Rock, I believe. Waz and the keeper eludes the Rangers for a moment, and then from behind is dragged down by Keeler. As it stands right now, gain of 2 as we check the flag. Well, something about Round Rock's offense tonight is that's the illegal formation call against them. 3rd such penalty they've been called for this evening.
Yeah, and there's so many different nuances of, how you line up and everything, and they're so different every time they line up. Nothing looks normal.
More of that game from a year ago, by the way. One thing, Tony, I went back and watched in that game, and Round Rock deserves credit for this. Trevon Merrick Woodard had 2 offensive touches the entire game. You take the ball out of his hands, you got a chance. After the flag, 2nd and 18. Ball creeping back towards midfield. Boy, a long delay there on the zone replay by the quarterback, Jordan Smart, his 2nd play tonight. This one is good for 8 yards and a run to the 40-yard line to bring up 3rd down and 10. So the 2 quarterbacks we've seen this evening, Trevor Waz and Jordan Smart, the 2 of them combined in the first 2 games of the year, 1 passing attempt. We have not seen Reed Hammond, the senior quarterback who started the first 2 games. From the 41, 3rd down and 11. And a low snap to Waz and has to eat the football again. And there you're talking about an experienced quarterback. Is there a relationship with your center and Jason Dudley? And obvious there wasn't much of one.
And that one a little bit different than the first one, but he fell on that ball 7-8 yards away from anybody. It looked like he could have scooped it and turned and looked at least. Just, part of being a sophomore and not having a lot of snaps.
3:30 to go, second quarter. Rangers on top by 20 and about to get the football back. And a lot of movement up front. The deep snapper, Thomas Crockett, Had a couple of Rangers go by him, and let's see who they call the flag on. Against Smithson Valley, second time tonight, the Rangers have committed a dead ball foul on a special teams play.
Go Rangers!
You kind of think when there's that many guys moving that you kind of think maybe he moved the ball. You know, the center adjusted the ball too much, and one of their guys busted through our line as well, so Smithson Valley must have moved first.
Here's Miller out to punt for the Dragons. Will he punt to Woodard? Not really. Short end over end punt. Takes a Round Rock roll inside the 25. They're going to say that the ball touched the sideline at the 27. Only a 17-yard punt for Miller. 3:05 to go. First half, Rangers in front 23-3. And again, the Knights of Steel looming next week.
It does beg the question, are you better off punting at 17 yards so that Woodard can't return it, or do you kick it to him and see if he can get those 17 yards on a 34-yard punt back?
I would say, Tony, you try to coffin corner that punt, but I'm not sure that Miller.
I'm not sure he struck that ball real well.
Or many high school players these days actually, put in the work and practice to be great punters. You don't see that a whole lot. From the 27, run play to Aiken. Twisted down at around the 32. That's good for about 5. Rangers stay ahead of the chain. Second down and 5 coming up.
You know, Nick's got his per carry average up to about 5.5 yards a carry. Along with those 3 touchdowns, he's been very efficient this year. I remember last year he got kind of behind the chains in his averaging 2 or 3 yards a carry. This year he's been much more efficient.
The Rangers' top returning rusher from last year's team. So many parts gone from the Rangers' 8-win team from a year ago. False start will mark this back 5 yards and make it second and 10. We've brought up 27-6A play so far this year for good reason. District schedule starts next week. Well, at this point of the season, 5 teams still undefeated. Rangers, Judson, New Braunfels, Wagner all 2-0, and Clemens right now is 3-0. The Buffaloes played last night. They beat Laredo Alexander 52-0, and of course, one of the Buffaloes' other wins came against these Dragons back in week 1. Right now, winless Canyon and East Central, both 0-2, and Steele is 1-1. Second and 10, running play to Aiken. Sakahara in pursuit, and Aiken will be forced out by him and a teammate at around the 31. That's Ryan O'Keefe finishing the job at the far side of the field to bring up 3rd and 6.
That was a hit out of bounds. He had stepped out of bounds when he got wrapped up there and thrown aside. I was kind of curious, but being in front of their bench, you don't always get that flag.
Well, we could tell you, too, this game has highlighted it, that player safety is paramount. We've already seen 2 players lead this game for Round Rock, the linebacker Lisenby, and for the Rangers, their freshman running back Darlington Frash, both in the first series of the game. 3rd and 6, here's the blitz. Williams stands tall, going deep over the middle. Woodard again, but it's off his hands. Incomplete. Would have been a walk-in touchdown for Woodard, just couldn't quite get his mitts around the pigskin, and it brings up 4th down.
And, just a thought, you mentioned the 2 injuries, and we've had a lot of penalties here tonight that really more than I would have anticipated at this point of the season. We're in our 3rd game, a lot of procedural type penalties. And when you have an injury that early in the game, sometimes they lose their poise, their edge, if you will, and some silly mistakes tonight by both teams.
That the first incompletion tonight,
yes.
By the way, for Williams. He's now 7 of 8. And who would have thought it'd be a drop pass by Woodard. Fair catch called for by Conzillo at the 30-yard line. 39-yard punt by Anderson. No return. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Rangers on top 23-3. And we should note that Round Rock will have the ball to open the 3rd quarter. So, Tony, if you're coach Jeff Cheatham right now, you have to be thinking about, okay, can we get points on this drive and make it a 23-10 or 23-6 score? You get the ball to open the 3rd quarter, score again, you're right back in this thing. A lot of ifs there, but it's possible.
Well, that's the way you got to be. When you're down by 20 points, you need something good to happen in a hurry.
From his own 30-yard line, here's Waz, a sophomore quarterback, rushes on. He is drilled. And boy, I think that was a screenplay there. Better have been, because all the Round Rock linemen laid their blocks. The Smithson Valley's defenders came right in the face of Waz. Pass falls incomplete. It's 2nd and 10.
And Zuber was right there on Pena, and if he'd have caught it, he'd have been tackled right away. In fact, Zuber had a chance maybe to get a hand on it.
Now, conversely here, that stops the clock if you're Smithson Valley, and you have you have 2 timeouts left. Could you get the ball back one more time before the end of the first half? 2nd and 10 from the 30. There's a snap to Waz on the rollout. Throwing towards the sideline for Miller. Busy tonight, but was out of bounds first, and he was forced out towards the sideline by Ethan Sill to bring up 3rd down and 10. And speaking of Ethan Sill, Tony, he had himself a play last week.
He did indeed. Yeah, that's funny. That looked like the line judge here on this side was going to call it good, and then all of a sudden he waved it off. So I'm not real sure what changed his mind. Maybe a Smithson Valley coach or something in his ear.
Sill, a pick 6 against Anderson.
No doubt.
3rd down and 10 to go, and again, an incomplete pass results in a stoppage of the clock. From the zone 30, off a low snap again, Waz steps up, protection breaks down, and Zuber tracks him down back at the 28-yard line. And Coach Hill will signal for a timeout. The Rangers have one left with 94 seconds to go until halftime.
Question now is, will they punt it to anyone in particular or try to angle it out of bounds? Rangers will get good field position no matter what right here.
Tony, you have to do the latter. I mean, defensively, Round Rock has actually been pretty good these last 2 series. So you know that Woodard can make a play returning punts. I mean, he has 4 return touchdowns in his career, for crying out loud. So instead of daring him to make a play, you dare the Rangers offense to go a few plays, however many yards to go and score. So of the 2 options, I'm going with plan B.
It'll be interesting to see, and I'm not sure that Miller, the punter, is fully capable of doing exactly what he wants to do with this.
Well, for the sake of our entertainment, I would love to see him punt the ball to Woodard.
Well, Woodard's by himself, so wherever he kicks it, I'm sure Trayvon's going to try to get there.
Maybe looking to redeem himself after dropping the last would-be touchdown.
We moved again.
A lot of finger pointing down there, but again, the flag against Smithson Valley.
Mason Pierce jumped across the line of scrimmage. It looked like he made contact, and that's what drew the flag. Although I will say Larry Hill is wearing out the official down here trying to tell him they're moving.
Still 4th and 6, not enough for the first down after the penalty. And Miller out to punt again. It's a good punt. Woodard from the 30, looking to return. Bounces off 1 tackle, cutting into the outside. Still moving across the 35, sifting through across the 40. Breaking a tackle, cutting it back left. He is inside of midfield. Woodard still running inside the 40. What a returner. Stays alive at the 30-yard line and down to the 28. You are playing Russian roulette when you punt to this guy anytime. He made how many players miss? 35 or lost count.
Well, Ryan O'Keefe is number 4. He was the defensive back that was trying to track him as he reversed field back to the near side. And he had a beat on him for about 30 yards of running or about 20 yards of football field. Mason Pierce caught him on a block and just laid him out. And that's what got Trayvon the extra 15 or 20 yards at the end of that. And he's coming over to the bench a little shook up, it looks like.
41 yards on the return there by Woodard. And that is his longest this year. On first down, Williams, a deep drop of the pocket, wants to throw it deep to the end zone for Rios, just over his hands. It incomplete. Ran a nice post pattern against the safety defending back deep, O'Keefe. It's 2nd and 10.
Just hypothetically, he throws it a step earlier, a second earlier, and puts more air under it. It's a touchdown. He waited an extra step. Rios ran out of room because he couldn't put enough air on it.
Still looking towards the sidelines, and Woodard remains on the sidelines for Smithson Valley. 2nd down and 10 to go from the Round Rock 28. 4 wide again for Williams, and again to throw, and again towards the end zone, and again that's an incompletion. That was Mason Pierce. A nice diving attempt towards the back of the end zone. Check that, Brance Anderson. Now 3rd and 10.
Some late contact there as he made his last move. I'm kind of curious to see. It looked like that Anderson got bumped as he crossed the goal line trying to go for the ball, but no flag.
Final minute 1 to go. Second quarter, Rangers on top by 20. And Tony, good sign, Woodard back out there.
Indeed, he did appear as though he was shook up a little bit after that long run, and maybe just winded.
He lines up wide left here on 3rd and 10. And Round Rock pressing against him. Whistles before the snap, and I think a quick timeout called by Coach Cheatham. And for the Dragons, that is their first timeout. They have 2 left with an even 60 seconds to go here in this first half. Coach Jeff Cheatham in his 5th season at Round Rock. Impressive run for him so far. The Dragons are 35-16, a really good program just north of Boston over the past several seasons. 28 wins the last 3 years alone, including a couple of 10-win campaigns, going 10-4 a year ago, and ran all the way to the region finals back in 2016. Lost there to the Woodlands, a state finalist, which lost to Lake Travis in the championship game. The deepest playoff run of the history of Round Rock football.
And they were a good football team a year ago. I remember we went up there, Brant, and that was everything that the Rangers would want and more, as they were unable to really get their offense going against what was a really good defensive football team. Just a quick question here.
Sure.
It's now 3rd and 10. If you run either one of those and get 4 or 5 yards, does it make this 3rd down easier instead of throwing twice in the end zone? Just curious.
Food for thought. Absolutely. You're right, Tony. 3rd and 10. Passing down for Williams. He will throw it. Gets a block. That's an illegal block. A throw to the end zone is intercepted at the goal line by O'Keefe. Rios to tackle. Now, this is interesting here. It's a turnover. You have to take it. But that illegal block there would make it 3rd down and about 20 to go. And the interception tackle stop was at the 1-yard line. So you're backed up at the goal line. It's foolish to ever take a turnover off the board, but it is something to think about.
Yeah, I think you can take a knee here and go to the locker room down 20. You give them another chance, and on 3rd down, they get enough to get in field goal range. I think you have to take the interception.
I'm trying to outsmart myself right now.
Really not a very good block in the backfield.
And Aiken is hearing about it from the sidelines. And so the interception stands, and again, it was O'Keefe on the pick, his first this year, and the second INT for Round Rock's defense this season. For the shortcomings the defense has had early part of 2017, forcing turnover is not one of the problems. That is now the 6th turnover forced by Round Rock through 3 games. And they gave O'Keefe a couple of more yards out to the 3-yard line, so enough breathing room here. We don't have to worry about a safety if you are, in fact, kneeling on the football.
And they have gone under center with their quarterback a couple of plays tonight, so that's not like that is something they can't do. They don't have to shotgun.
It is a running play, though, and down to the 4-yard line, playing with fire there is Pena. So they do run it out. They're actually going to say at the 3, no gain, and they'll probably have to run one more play here in the second quarter.
Did kind of figure on him having to do something twice. I formation, hand it to the tailback, and I'd be surprised if they didn't do that again.
Running play again here on 2nd down and 10. Across the 5 is all, maybe to the 6-yard line is Pena, and that the final play of the first half. Smithson Valley 2-0 in the season, and the Rangers are 24 minutes away from being 3-0 as they have a comfortable 20-point lead at the break. Your score at halftime, Smithson Valley 23, Round Rock 3. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No, sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came here to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelek, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sandejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium at the half. Smithson Valley on top, 23-3. Rangers angling for a 3-0 start. And the Dragons trying to get up off the mat. They are 0-2 on the year. But, Tony, through the first 24 minutes of action, it looks like those records might hold. The Rangers looked awfully impressive in the first and second quarters.
They got off to a very quick start, did the Rangers, and the Dragons looked very poorly early. Once Round Rock started getting some efficiency on offense and getting some first downs, the game kind of turned balanced, I thought. Again, it's 20-0, then 20-3, kind of a seesaw game over the last 8 or 9 minutes, but it seems like Round Rock just doesn't have enough playmakers to really put a threat to the game. Yet their quickness on offense and some of their specialty guys are really being able to run the ball to the edge. And Smithson Valley has struggled with that on a couple of occasions.
Looking at some of the numbers from the first half for the Rangers, they had 233 total yards of offense. Very balanced, too, by the way. $127 on the ground, 106 through the air. And you look specifically at the play of Levi Williams, the quarterback, 7 for 11 passing for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Should note that his final 4 passes were incomplete to include the interception. His final 1 of the first half, but beyond that, Tony looked really good.
And he had an interception last week that we talked about, kind of a pass he shouldn't have thrown, but in a situation it doesn't hurt you per se because you're going to give the ball up anyway. That, again, is a play that pressure, made a bad decision. You should have thrown it away versus trying to complete the home run. I can't say enough of the efficiency, I think, with which he's played these first 2.5 games.
So again, Williams, 2 touchdown passes, also has 1 on the ground on 5 carries, 21 yards for him. For Smithson Valley, should note too that Trevon Merrick-Woodard's had a nice game. Did find the end zone once on a 59-yard pass from Williams. Nearly had his second. The ball fell off his hands. Had a great punt return towards the end of the first half as well. Continues to be Smithson Valley's deadliest weapon.
And that's one of the incompletions Williams has. He put it right in Woodard's hands. Trevon just didn't hang on to that one. You know, it's an interesting game. The stats can tell you so many different things, and yet so many different things are involved in why something happens or doesn't happen. Right now, I think the Rangers are going to – my read on the second half is they need to run the ball better in the second half and show that they can. just if nothing else to get ready for next week.
And for Round Rock, again, you're handing the reins of the offense to a young quarterback, Trevor Waz, making his first ever start, a sophomore. And again, at times throughout the game tonight, has looked pretty composed given his age.
He's really has some good foot speed, so when he takes off, he's got an ability to get to the corner. Made a couple of nice throws, made a couple of poor throws. So again, just a sophomore, he's getting better.
Again, your score at the half, it is Smithson Valley 23 and Round Rock 3. Coming up in just a bit, we'll have the playing of the Ranger Marching Band. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came in to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, well, we are back at the Inside Ranger Football TV studios. Coming up in just a bit, again, a preview of the Rangers' Week 3 game against Round Rock. But for now, let's send things over to Emily Wick with this week's Senior Moments.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. All right, boys, you know what to do. Get your phones out, text your mama hi, tell her you love her. So I'm here today with Luke, Leo, Michael, and Brock. And Luke, I have a question for you. If you had to pick a song that best describes your mom, what would that song be?
I guess My Girl.
Oh, that's very sweet. How does that song go?
My girl, talking about my girl. My girl.
Very cute. So Leo, do you have any weird little quirks or habits that I should know about?
No, but I have a really funny laugh.
Oh, let me hear it.
I can't. You have to make me laugh.
Oh, then you may need a joke later. What do you call a guy with a rubber toe? Roberto.
Oh, no.
Yeah, isn't that good? Roberto.
That's perfect.
Isn't it? That's so good. So, Michael, do you think you would be a good American Ninja Warrior?
I think I would be.
Do you?
I think I can win it.
You think so?
I think I could.
What would help you to win it? What skills do you have?
I got plenty of skills.
Do you?
I think I can do it. I can win it.
Your length.
My length, I got that stretch. I can grip anything. I'm good.
Yeah. So if you could be an animal for American Ninja Warrior, what animal do you think you would be?
I'd be a monkey. You know how fast they climb trees and swing across, like, what's it?
Vines.
Vines?
Yeah.
Swing across vines? I'd be a monkey. They would win it.
I think they would.
They would.
Yeah. So Brock, if you could be any kind of dog and have the job of that dog, so think about that. There's a lot of working dogs out there. What dog would you be?
I think I'd be a German Shepherd.
A German Shepherd.
And work in the police force.
This is true. They do. That is a good one.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a sled dog.
Sled dog.
Yeah, I could just run all day. Snow. Yeah. They always look like they're like laughing. All of them. They're like, ah! Yeah, they're just having a good time. Anybody else?
I'd be a Rhodesian Ridgeback. They hunt lions.
Oh, well, that's a whole thing. So Luke, tell me a joke.
Why'd the Scarecrow win an award?
I don't know.
Because he's outstanding in his field.
That's pretty good. So Brock, I hear that you work at the YMCA.
I do, yes.
Can you sing us the song?
Yeah, I'll sing a song. All right. Y'all have to come with me, or sing along, all right? All right, we're gonna say, we start off with, it's fun to stay at the YMCA. Ready? All right. 1, 1, 2, 3. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Wait, what is it? Perfect.
Pretty good. Hey, Luke, have you ever played the game of telephone?
Yeah.
Why don't you start it down there? Tell Leo a secret and see if I get it.
Brock sneezes in the shower.
Brock sneezes in the shower?
Of course.
Is that right?
It was Brock sings in the shower.
Brock sings in the shower. All right, not too far off. Sneezes, sings. It's great having you here today. Coach Brandt, back to you.
It's fun to stay at the RANGERS.
Nice try.
Here we go. Tie ball game with just 2 seconds left on the clock, and the Rangers are looking to score. Here's a snap. Bayless, who was wide open down the near sideline. And he makes a catch at the 10, the 5, touchdown. My goodness, what a play, and the Rangers win.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here and Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium at the half. Smithson Valley on top of Round Rock 23-3. And now about to perform down to the field is the Smithson Valley Marching Band. That again, the Ranger marching band performing here at halftime of Smithson Valley's 3-3 game against Round Rock. The score at the half, Smithson Valley 23, Round Rock 3. More halftime coverage coming up. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh, so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas produce department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, H-E-B, GVTC, Wick Productions, Ferris Orthodontics, Summerhill Dental, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and Pizza Hut.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium here at the half. Smithson Valley on top 23-3. A three-man crew here with you tonight. Brent Freeman with Tony Brubaker, and also joining us is Jeff Gandy. And Jeff made his on-air debut last week against Austin Anderson, a 56-0 Ranger win over the Trojans. And Jeff, welcome to the Ranger Network team, and great job last week. Glad to have you here tonight. Looking at the first half of this game, as you've been taking down a lot of the numbers, what stood out to you?
Well, first of all, it looks like that the Smithson Valley Rangers came out and pretty much like they did last week and took it to the game quickly in the first quarter. I think that's going to be important coming out the second half is, again, come out fast, come out on top, take what the defense gives to you, score first and foremost when you get to first and second possessions. Take this game away from the potential of getting back in your opponent's hands. I think that's going to be important.
Jeff, you've been in a lot of locker rooms at halftime, having played high school, college, and pro. So you're Smithson Valley and Round Rock in those halftime locker rooms. What was the message? What was the typical message you would hear, whether you're up by 20 or down by 20?
Yeah. If you're up by 20, if you're Smithson Valley, I guarantee you that the locker room chatter was stay focused. Keep the intensity level high. You've done a lot of things good on the football field the first half, but you've also made some mistakes. Too many penalties for the Rangers. I know Coach Hill doesn't like that. Clean it up a little bit, stay focused, keep the intensity high, and keep doing what you're doing on offense. Balance attack, running the football, and on defense, gain tackle, fly to the football, and let's get a turnover.
All right, sounds good. Jeff, thanks so much. Enjoy the second half.
You bet.
That again, Jeff Gandy joining us here at halftime. Smithson Valley on top 23-3. Start of the third quarter coming up. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
I'm Jaime Buenteo, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas produce department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. We are ready to start the third quarter here. Smithson Valley on top 23-3. And the opening kickoff for Mason Reed is out of the reach for Ryan O'Keefe. And the Dragons start at their own 25-yard line, down by 20 points.
You mentioned that wind earlier, not really too taut, but the flags are standing pretty stiff at times now, so I bet the wind's over 10, 15 miles an hour and got a lot of help that time.
So again, a productive at times offense in the first half for Round Rock, just not enough times that they finished drives. Quarterback Trevor Waz, 4 of 6 passing for 47 yards, some good running plays as well. On first down from his own 25. A running play opens the second half, and it doesn't yield a whole lot. Rangers bottle up their play at the 25-yard line, no gain. Pena on the tackle, not many times tonight. Smithson Valley has kept Pena in check as it sets up 2nd and 10.
Well, it's, you know, I said this early in the game. Our defensive line has out-muscled their offensive line much of the night. It's when they got to the edge that concerned me the most.
2nd and 10 with 3 wide now for Waz. He'll throw. A screen for Miller, and the Rangers chop him down. Good play by Brady Chubb to bring down the much bigger Garrett Miller. Again, 6'6", 215. Chubb at 5'10", 170. Took on a big boy there.
And you're seeing pursuit really sharp on these first couple of plays. The defense seems to be really moving well off the snap.
By the way, if you're curious, the spelling of Waz, W-A-Z. Were you curious before the game how to pronounce it? I was.
That's what I thought. What did you think it might be?
Waz?
Yeah.
I was off.
Yeah.
3rd down and 11 from the 24. Here's motion out of the slot from Pena. It's an option play. Waz on the keeper, pitches it to nobody. Picked up at around the 12-yard line, still loose. A Rangers got it for a touchdown. Touchdown, Matt Coleman'sberger. Smithson Valley on top now, 29-3 on a broken play, to say the least, for Round Rock's offense.
Not real sure what Waz did there, what he was thinking, but Brady Chubb goes, and doesn't he pick up the ball and kind of toss it in the air, and that's how the Rangers got it in the end zone?
Well, he can't do that exactly, but I'm thinking that he went to pick it up, and it came out of his hands right into the waiting arms of Coleman'sberger. What a wild sequence there.
Oh, my.
So here's read on for the PAT, and that kick is on the money and good. Rangers on top 30-3, 10:37 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It was about 40 minutes of real time ago when Round Rock had forced a turnover, or rather got a stop on the dropped pass by Trevon Merrick-Woodard. We're getting the ball back, down 20-3, and you're dreaming up a scenario, okay, Round Rock will have the next 2 possessions of this game and a chance to make it interesting. Instead, Tony, here we are now, 40 minutes later. It's now a 27-point deficit.
I guess you could say they didn't take very good advantage of their opportunity.
No. So that, by the way, a forced fumble and fumble recovery, the Rangers' first fumble recovered this year, and now back-to-back weeks, Smithson Valley has scored a defensive touchdown. Last week it was Ethan Sill. Tonight it is Matt Coleman'sberger.
That's a replay we're all going to want to see.
Yes. Because I'm with you, Tony. You know, did that happen legally?
Yeah, it looked funny from up here. See if Mason Reed can throw it to the end zone or kick it to the end zone again.
Again, 2 non-offensive touchdowns last week and now 1 tonight. Great sign for the Rangers moving forward. Another kick into the back of the end zone, just what Tony ordered. And the Dragons start at their own 25-yard line.
So things are looking up for Mason Reed.
Yeah, Mason Reed, again, as you mentioned, Tony missed his first PAT at a kickoff go out of bounds, but since then his kickoffs have gone for touchbacks. He hit a field goal earlier in the game. His PAT since the opening 1 have all been good. And Mason Reed.
And he made a touchdown-saving tackle on a return.
And there was that play as well. A lot of improving players from a year ago to this season,
yes.
And Mason Reed is one of them. So here's Waz after a sophomore-like play, making his first start. Out with the offense again. That is zone 25. He'll give it to Pena as a flag. Make it a couple fly in. Probably a hold here against Round Rock as the play stopped at the 30-yard line. So for the time being, 2nd and 5.
You know, I mentioned earlier we hadn't seen a whole lot of, or called the name of Trey Witcher much, the defensive tackle who's had a really good first couple of games. Well, I've watched the first couple of series, or this will be the second series, first couple of plays of this half, and they are almost double teaming him on the snap, trying to keep him from getting penetration in the line. And he has been quiet, but we'll see if he can make some tackles here in the second half.
By the way, it is a hold against Round Rock, so now it's 1st and 20, and you hear Tony mention Trey Witcher. You don't give the names of the defensive tackles a lot because they're not in on a lot of stops. The ends make the tackles with the linebackers. Well, Trey Witcher is one of them. The other is Manoa Pow Pow. Really fun name to say, by the way. Both tipping the scales over 200 pounds and plugging up the middle right now. Last year, the name we had the most fun with, Tony, if you remember, was Indiana Hawes.
And no doubt about that.
We had the argument or debate about what state name would be the best to have as a person. On first down and 23, they'll mark it, and that running play is going nowhere. To the far side of the field, Waz on the keeper, down to the 12, and no gain. Sets up second down and 23 to go.
Kind of makes you wonder which game that was because it wasn't a very close game.
It was East Central. Yeah. I remember it clearly.
On the road.
And I'm trying to remember the names that brought up in the debate, like you know, because you have to combine the first name and a great last name too.
Right.
Like Pennsylvania Brown. That'd be a really cool name, don't you think?
Uh-huh.
You don't agree with that at all. Second and 23. Option play again for Waz, and the Rangers are reading this really well as the game has moved along. Zuber, the ankle tackle to 15, will bring up third down and 22.
Trey Witcher got in on that one too, maybe. Yeah, he did.
He did. So Smithson Valley.
Kind of interesting. Sure. They're running some plays, but they're really not going anywhere, are they?
Not really.
They're not. They haven't really pieced anything together for momentum here in the second half.
You know, we did see some up-tempo, no huddle in the first half, not getting that sense of urgency right now from Round Rock, down by 27. Third and 19, and Waz will throw it. It is a screen to the far side, up to the 22, that's all. Along the far hash, first catch tonight for Colin Sullivan, a player with some good expectations coming into the season. Last year, 22 catches, over 400 yards, with 6 touchdowns, but really quiet so far here in 2017 as Round Rock goes 3 and out.
And he did that last year as a freshman, just a sophomore this year.
In fact, the Austin American-Statesman rated all the position groups within the 13-6A district, and Round Rock across the board offensively, great ratings on the offensive line, running game, the receivers, but that quarterback position's looming pretty large right now. Fair catch called for by Woodard, a rare one at that, on the punt by Miller, and it's made inside of midfield of the 48-yard line. Not a very far punt there, about 23 yards, and the Rangers' first third-quarter offensive possession starts inside of midfield.
In fact, a really good decision there on the fair catch. There was a crowd around him, and a couple of their linebackers were running down the field and had a pretty good beat on him if he tries to catch that one and go anywhere with it.
You do wonder how many more series tonight Levi Williams will play at quarterback with the Rangers on top by 27.
That is a good question.
From the Round Rock 48, calls for motion from the far side. Ball goes to the motion man, running left, 45 and down to the 44-yard line. On the carry there was Chris Rivera. Don't call his name a whole lot. 5'6", $145. The junior is able to pick up about 4 yards there to bring up second and 6.
But I did tell you last week against Anderson, he had a couple of those jet sweeps for better yardage. He's got some team speed, and he can get to the corner and around the edge pretty good.
Rangers went deep into the roster last week in their 56-0 rout of Anderson. Second and 6. Williams will keep it up the left side. A stiff arm and back down to the 40-yard line. Tackle made by Brent Hitchcock, one of the seniors for this Round Rock defense. The Rangers have a 3rd and 2 coming up.
Kind of an interesting call. How elaborate do you get with a 30-3 lead trying to get a 3rd and 2? Do you pull something out that you might not run, or do you stay with your basic? I've seen a lot of passes on 3rd and 2 before.
About to find out. 3rd and 2 for the Round Rock 40. It is a running play. Aiken, he's got the first down and more into the secondary. A head-first dive down to the 27-yard line. The Rangers needed 2 yards. Aiken gives them a good 13.
Just a little trap up front, got him a hole, and got plenty of good yards. You go as basic as you can on 3rd and 2 that time.
You know, we saw Smithson Valley earlier in the game on 3rd and inches go play action. Didn't work out. In fact, it was a loss of yardage on that play. So here, Tony, they go conservative, but they get it and then some.
Right.
6:50 left, 3rd quarter. All Rangers on top, 30-3. And Williams on first down throws a swing pass. It is caught by Cervantes. Twisted down. Make it Aiken to the 22-yard line. Rangers still staying ahead of the chains, and it brings up 2nd and 5.
Now that's the way a swing pass should look. I told you earlier, a couple of times last week we threw a swing pass to one of our backs, and there was not a white jersey anywhere near, and that time there was at least a defender close by.
And that Williams' first completion of the second half. Kind of a wishbone look here for the Rangers. Aiken on the call, cutting it up the middle, staying at his feet, and takes a couple of dragons with him down to the 15-yard line for another Ranger first down.
Good run by Aiken that time to kind of keep on his toes and keep moving, and then leaning at the last moment to get those extra yards for the first down.
Mark Franco checks out. Bobby Palomine comes in for Smithson Valley here in this upcoming first down play. Don't see Woodard out there right now with the offense. Maybe his night playing both ways is done.
As it should be.
From the 15, here's Aiken, another carry, making the most of his opportunities. He's dragged down to the 10-yard line. 5 more hard-earned yards to the junior running back to bring up 2nd down and 5.
Good lateral jump cut to get a yard further to his right or left and then jet forward. Aiken's looking better every time we see him.
Second halves have been tough for the Dragons so far, early part of 2017. They've yet to score in the third quarter this year. Outscored in second halves 23-7. And the Rangers on the doorstep for more. From the 10-yard line, 2nd and 5. A rollout pass is caught by Hunter. Same play to open the scoring in this game, and Hunter scores again. Touchdown, Smithson Valley.
Good call, as mentioned. Same, little bit different deception on the edge, but because Woodard took it away the first time, but this same back. And then there's a flag.
Yep.
But same look, and Williams, with a man chasing him, did a nice job of keeping his poise and finding Hunter open.
You mentioned the deception, though. I don't know if it happened legally, and in fact, it's illegal formation is coming back. Good deception, though.
Yeah.
So, scratch the touchdown by Hunter. Would have been his second tonight. Had 1 touchdown all of last year. The one he scored back in the first quarter, by the way, his first of 2017. And the Rangers now faced with 2nd down and 10 from the 15-yard line. It's a pitch to Aiken, running left. Has some blocks, cutting it back inside. Flag flies in as Aikens is pushed into the end zone for the time being, a touchdown. And we'll check the marker. You would think in the neighborhood of a hold, but that flag was pretty far down the field.
Either that or an illegal block, but I'm guessing this isn't going to hold as a touchdown.
You didn't see a bunch of jubilation on the part of the Rangers.
Chop block.
Yep, coming back again.
Personal foul on the Rangers.
Well, this is what they call, Tony, and I'm sure Jeff would agree with this, all the years he played, coachable moments, right? You're winning the game handily, yes, but where can you make corrections? And for Smithson Valley right now, got to clean up some things in terms of penalties.
Too many tonight for sure.
7 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Smithson Valley on top 30-3. But after that flag, now faced with 2nd down, it's a spot foul. 2nd down and 13 from the 18-yard line. 3 wide for Williams. He'll throw it after a pump fake going towards the end zone. And that is just a little bit too far out beyond the reach of Mason Pierce. Good coverage from O'Keefe towards the back right corner of the end zone. 3rd and 13 coming up.
You know, even if that ball's thrown on target, that's a tough completion. You mentioned O'Keefe was right with him. Pierce was unable to create any separation to get further, to get open, and it would have been a tough play had it been on target.
O'Keefe, of course, intercepted Williams earlier in the game. Woodard, by the way, checks back in, splits out wide right here on 3rd and 13. Here's motion from Aiken. The fake to him. The throw to the end zone. Caught by Woodard, and he scores for the 2nd time tonight.
What a throw. I'm telling you what, his ability to connect has been remarkable, and that yet another great throw by Levi Williams.
With just a dart through defenders, over the oncoming rush, stood tall in the pocket. I mean, everything on the checklist. Levi Williams took that pen and put the check mark next to it. Here's Reed on for the PAT. Kick is up, and Reed is true again. 4:50 left, third quarter, all Rangers. Smithson Valley 37, Round Rock 3. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh, so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
Smithson Valley having some fun on a Friday night here in mid-September. 4:50 left, third quarter. All Rangers on top 37-3. Moments ago, faced with third down and 13 for the 18-yard line. The Rangers had kept Trevon Merrick-Woodard kind of in the back pocket on the sidelines to open the second half. Didn't really need him. But faced with third and long, they say, Trevon, get back out there. We'll draw up a play for you. And boy, did it pay off.
A well-designed play as well. In fact, go back to, they ran that in the first half where one receiver was a little bit deeper than the other. Woodard just inside of, I'm not sure if it was Rios or on the outside of that one, but the inside receiver comes open, and again, Williams made a remarkable throw to get it to him.
So 2 touchdowns tonight for Woodard as a receiver. And here's the kickoff from Reed, and again into the back of the end zone. That one about 9.5 yards deep into the end zone, and the Dragons start at their own 25, down by 34 points. 4:50 left here in the third quarter, and so the Rangers on the way to being 3-0. And here's another streak, by the way, that will likely stay intact. This will mark the Rangers' 13th consecutive non-district home win. The last time the Rangers got beaten at home by a non-district team was in 2010 by MacArthur. A player for the Brahmas in that game, Jace Amaro, played tight end for Texas Tech and later in the NFL in a couple of stops.
First down, 20.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So he had a chance to finish his high school career, college career, and make 3 stops in the NFL since the last Ranger non-district loss at home. First down is a running play. The ball stripped away by Gibbons, and he'll walk into the end zone for the touchdown. Another defensive score for the Rangers in this third quarter as Smithson Valley is pouring it on against Round Rock.
And, you know, when that happens, you know, usually you hear a call for he was down, he was stopped. But that ball came out so quick as Pena was trying to get some extra yards, and he was still moving, and Gibbons just took it away and ran.
Will Gibbons, a junior linebacker, first-year starter, did play varsity a year ago, as we all know, the younger brother of Jack Gibbons, great linebacker last season for Smithson Valley, and makes a great defensive play. Reed's PAT again is good, and the Rangers, who held a 23-3 lead at halftime, now in front 44-3. 2 fumble return touchdowns in this third quarter, sandwiched around a touchdown pass to Woodard. Boy, Smithson Valley, Tony, you know, Hendrickson's a good team, that week 1 game, but there were kinks to work out, a team that didn't quite know each other yet, trying to gel and come together, and so hiccups were to be expected. But since about the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter of that game to this moment right now, the Rangers are as good as you can be as a football team.
And as we think about next Friday night, they're going to need every bit of that as they get ready for Cibolo Steel and what will be the district opener against arguably one of the 2 best teams in the district, if not the best.
Steel 1-1 through 2 weeks, that lone loss. Again, no shame in that. 34-31 to Lake Travis on the road last Friday. Right now tonight, Steel is playing at home against O'Connor. Good game there. Other games in action to the district. Canyon is at San Antonio Madison at Hero Stadium. New Braunfels hosting San Marcos. Judson hosting Roosevelt. Last score we heard, Rockets 55 and the Rough Riders 19. and East Central is at Victoria East. Kickoff from Reed, not going to happen quite yet. There's a whistle.
Timeout.
Timeout, the call before kickoff. Tony, I've been watching football since the Super Bowl in 1993. Been covering football behind the microphone for the better part of 13 years. I'm not sure, and I've seen maybe a million hours of football now, I've ever seen a timeout called before a kickoff, a team leading by 41 points. Have you?
Well, you notice the one of the Rangers was late getting out there onto the line, and I'm not sure if that wasn't just a timeout to make a point, because Coach Hill has been in that huddle, or was in that huddle for quite a while before he gave way to the special teams coordinator. He was not real happy that the Rangers weren't ready for that kickoff.
Well, again, as we brought this up earlier, as a coaching staff, you're thrilled to be winning a game. Wins are hard to come by. You get 10 shots a year to try to make the most out of those opportunities. But in the games you have a comfortable lead like you do tonight, you want to find out things you're doing wrong. Make sure you're correcting those mistakes.
Hi.
So 4:38 to go third quarter. Rangers kicking off, leading 44-3. After the timeout, Reed's kickoff deep again towards the end zone, and again no chance for O'Keefe on a return, 9 yards into the end zone, and the Dragons, after turning it over, their last possession, start at their own 25, down 44-3.
Wind must be dying down a little bit because that only went about 8 yards deep into the end zone. So, well, then again, we talked about this last week. Mason Reed's legs probably getting a little bit tired. He's kicked off an awful lot tonight, like he did a week ago.
So as we said, the district opener next week is Steele at Linoff Stadium there in Cibolo. As we see a new quarterback in, Smart now back in a quarterback for the Dragons. He'll keep it in first down, and the Rangers gobble him up at the 25, no gain. Sets up 2nd and 10. After that, the Rangers' first district home game 2 weeks from tonight against East Central. Following that is a bye. After that, the Rangers will travel to Wagner. Again, the Thunderbirds are 2-0 so far this year. At home in Week 8 to take on the Clemens Buffaloes. They're 3-0. In Week 9, at New Braunfels Canyon to take on the Cougars. Week 10, maybe the biggest game of the season on the schedule, if it's not next week, at Judson. They're in Converse. And the Rangers close out the regular season at home against New Braunfels, Week 11. Running play again by Smart, drilled by defender at around the 31-yard line. There's Johnson on another impressive play for Smithson Valley.
Looks like we're going to have a hold, too, I'd guess, by the wide receiver.
Actually, not Johnson. You look at the Ranger defense now, a lot of twos out there. Second teamers out on defense for Smithson Valley. That was Jacob Johnson, though, on the tackle.
You don't mean 2 and 22 and 32? And, no, second teamers. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. not the twos literally, numerically there, Tony.
Okay.
So that is a legal block at the back. Play is called back to the 19-yard line. 2nd and 17 for the Round Rock offense. Wozbacker quarterback runs the option to the far side. He'll keep it. Good run across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
I've said since this game started, their best offense is getting the ball to the edge and running with some of their team speed, and yet they don't do it often enough, in my opinion.
After that 8-yard gain, it's 3rd down and 9 from the 26. Too many 3rd and longs tonight for Round Rock.
Yes.
For a team that struggles to throw the football. Walls will throw it. Here's the blitz, and he is buried. Ball comes out again at around the 16-yard line. Boy, Ranger defender came in unblocked. Jared Zillman, who got the football back, I think Round Rock, based on body language, and they did. And boy, again, Zillman, a defensive end, nobody even brushed him away. And that brings up 4th down.
You know, Waz, just being a sophomore, it seemed to me that time someone got on him so quick he didn't know what to do, and he didn't react at all, in my opinion. And I just kind of you know, would have hoped to have seen something better out of him on that one.
Back to return this punt is Ricky Rios, by the way. Woodard again, probably his snaps are winding down tonight, and this is not a good punt. End of run angle to the far side, does take a Round Rock roll and picked up with a 43, a 26-yard punt. Another Ranger possession starts inside of midfield, leading 44-3, 2:17 to go here in this fourth quarter. Last year's game, a ton of drama. Came down to the final possession there in Round Rock. Tonight, a different team, both ways, different teams, different story.
And second teamers will come in on the offensive side as they did on the defensive side before, as you see Levi Williams congratulating some of his fellow starters. It'll be an interesting look here.
Williams, his night is done. 9 of 13 passing for $123, 3 touchdowns and an INT. Also a rushing score, so back to throw now. Colton Eilers, and his first pass is caught by Brant Anderson. Breaking a tackle inside the 20. Down the far sideline, reaching for the plane is the end. And they're going to mark him.
Touchdown.
Into the end zone for a touchdown. And so Smithson Valley, I think, has touched the ball 7 times in this third quarter, and they now have 4 touchdowns. And that one, Colton Eilers to Brant Anderson, and the Rangers for the second week in a row have cracked 50 on the scoreboard.
He reached for and got the pylon and knocked it over, and that's why they called it a touchdown, because the ball came loose when it hit the ground.
All you got to do is cross the plane. Here's Reed's PAT. That kick is up, and it sails wide to the right. No good. It remains a 50-3 Ranger lead. 2:05 to go, third quarter. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
MLB Tonight brings you closer to the pennant chase.
Devastating slider. Leaping grab. That's number 3.
Closer to the epic moments.
That ball is cashed out to center. And a dive and a catch.
Closer to the critical plays.
Now you can use your hands more.
Now I go into a fine focus. Boom.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, bringing you closer to the pennant chase.
This is it.
On MLB Network, home of 2 American League Division Series games.
Back out at Ranger Stadium, Smithson Valley rolling. 2:05 to go, third quarter, on top 50-3. Moments ago, the Rangers' second-team offense came out for the first time, led by Colton Eilers. They ran one play, and it was a 47-yard touchdown pass. Williams for making 43 yards. Eilers, not Williams, to Brant Anderson. Reed's kickoff after a missed PAT goes out of the back of the end zone this time. And the Dragons again a long field in front of them. Tony, you think about the game of football, and to pull off 11, 12 play drives consuming 4 minutes, going 80 yards, to get 28, 30 points doing that 4 or 5 times is hard. You need these big plays, and Smithson Valley is getting them by the bushel right now. I mean, this third quarter, we've seen a four play drive, a 1-play drive, and 2 defensive touchdowns. If you get those things, you're really hard to beat. Waz on first down. It's a running play to the right side, and not much room there for the ball carrier Pena. Maybe a yard to bring up 2nd and 9.
At halftime, we discussed what did coaches say in the locker room at halftime. Whatever Larry Hill said stuck.
Yep.
Jeff Cheatham's words didn't seem to have much of an impact because his team has not come out with the kind of fire and intensity. Down by 20, we talked about it. You get a score there and you're within 2 scores. I mean, there's a lot of good things happen if you make something good happen early in the quarter.
2nd and 9, option plays blown up by the Rangers defense. My goodness. 4 defenders were right there as soon as that play had started to develop. And I believe the one leading the charge there for the Rangers defensively was Patrick Elliott. And now it's 3rd down and about 15 coming up after a loss of 5.
Zillman there too, and both of them just kind of busted through the right side, and that play just blew up before it got started.
You see Michael Smith along with Elliott and Alfonso Valdez with Zellman on the defensive line right now. Again, not a single off or defensive starter on the field for Smithson Valley. 3rd and 15. Waz will throw it to the far side and nobody home. Closest man was Sullivan. Defending him was Eggleston. And Round Rock quietly goes 3 and out.
Sullivan looked like he turned inside and the ball went outside and he was confused.
Was there a flag of the play? There was. It's against Round Rock and the Rangers will decline. You mentioned Jeff Cheatham's name moments ago, Tony, and you brought this up earlier in the broadcast, that this right now is uncharted waters for him and his program. Again, 6 straight years in the postseason, 28 wins over the past 3 seasons. You wouldn't know it looking at the score right now and the soon-to-be 0-3 record. This team was a win away from playing in the state semifinals last year.
And it just tells you how quickly a high school team can change with one graduating class.
Here's Miller's punt. May have been tipped. It does take a Round Rock roll, though, across the 40 and picked up at the 42, a 22-yard punt. And the Rangers, broken record here, starting inside of Dragon territory.
4 different Rangers were in there putting pressure on him. The snap was low, and Miller just ran out of room to get it off.
So this will mark the 16th time of the Coach Hill era, this in his 25th season. They have started 3-0. And their 5th 3-0 start over the past 7 years. Should note, after 3 games last year, the Rangers were 1-2, and one of those losses to Round Rock. First down passing play caught inside the 40-yard line and down to the 35. Might be the final third quarter play. Good throw there by Eilers. And the receiver he hooked up with downfield was Jeremiah Gilliam. As we hit the final 10 seconds of the third quarter.
I don't believe we'll run another play.
Wouldn't think so. And the Rangers will not. 36 minutes in the book. Here at Smithson Valley, 12 minutes left in non-district play. The Rangers in control, on top 50-3. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
I'm Jaime Buentello, produce buyer for H-E-B. We work hard to find the freshest, best produce available. That's why we work with Texas growers to buy local as much as possible. Over 100 million pounds annually. In fact, we sell more produce than any other store in Texas. Grapefruit, corn, blueberries, and tons more. All grown right here in our beautiful backyard and on their way to your store within 24 hours. This is the local Texas produce department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so deliciously different.
And we are ready to start the fourth quarter here from Smithson Valley. Rangers leading 50-3. And they have the football. Faced with 2nd down and 3 to open the fourth quarter. Running play to the left side. Franco, a nice carry down to the 31-yard line. Mark Franco. But Tony mentioned that some of the players getting playing time last week due to a blowout. Franco was one of them and looked good. 9 carries, 79 yards against the Trojans last Friday.
He did. Quick feet, moves hard, runs forward. Everything about him looks good.
This is second series for Colton Eilers here tonight. The Ranger backup quarterback. Give to Franco again. Turned away this time and dropped it around the 31. He'll lose a yard. On the tackle there for Round Rock coming in to make the play, Ryan Brunson.
There's something about a running back when he gets hit 2 yards into the backfield. It's really hard to get positive yards out of something like that.
So the score again lopsided, but again, Tony, I look at Round Rock and I see a team that does have some players. You look at Miller, the receiver / tight end for this team, and you know, Waz, the quarterback. Tough assignment tonight, but he's only a sophomore. He'll get better. The running game was solid with between Pena and Brown. And they'll need those guys to come through as district play arrives for them. Here's Franco on a 2nd down and long carry, dropped it around the 27 for 4 to bring up 3rd down and 7. Round Rock does have one more non-district game left at Belton next week, and their 13-6A district is really good. We saw one of those teams, in fact, back in week 1. Pflugerville Hendrickson.
Indeed, and really when you talk about it, Payne is the only senior of their really good, skilled players, so they do have a future.
3rd down and 7 from the Round Rock 27-yard line for Eilers and the Ranger offense. Franco bobbled the handoff, but was able to dive back into the football, preventing a turnover. Would have been Smithson Valley's second tonight. Back to the 32. And don't think they're going to send out Reed for what would be close to a 50-yard field goal attempt. They'll probably go for it here.
Some of the handoffs appear to be young men being in too big of a hurry. You know, you hear the coaching motto, you know, be quick, just don't be in a hurry.
Right.
And I think sometimes they're just trying to do too much too fast instead of just being calm and just handling it.
John Wooden, I think, is the one that came up with the saying. 4th and 12, they'll go for it. Too far for field goal, too short to punt. And this pass is caught inside the 25. Nice throw, but not enough for the first down. To the 24-yard line goes Gilliam. And the Dragons started their own 24, down by 47 points.
Gilliam did a nice job of running a good route, caught it, and just had good coverage on him, couldn't break a tackle.
So the Rangers defensively last week posted a shutout against Anderson. You look at the numbers from that game, only gave up 120 total yards of offense. And the 0 on the scoreboard, obviously, so far tonight. Round Rock a little bit better job offensively with the points on the board and a few more yards. But this is now 2 straight really dominant performances by Smithson Valley's defense. Smart, the quarterback, on first down. Nice run across the 30. And darts down to the 32, a gain of 8 yards to bring up 2nd down and 2 to go.
What a great first step and a burst when he takes off running. Just a really good-looking quarterback who can run with the ball.
The Rangers were living in the backfield last week against the Trojans. 5 sacks in that game for Smithson Valley. They forced 3 turnovers. All interceptions, by the way. Trevon Merrick Woodard, Mason Pierce, and the pick 6 by Ethan Sill. And tonight, 2 more turnovers, both cashed in for touchdowns. 2nd and 2 from the 32, a Ranger lined up offside. Free play, and Smart, the quarterback, turns out about 9 more yards. Another flag flies in. Could be a face mask here, as we have some penalties to sort out.
Robles, the defensive end on this side, was lined up with his helmet across the neutral zone, it did appear.
A lot of names out there where you're not accustomed to seeing. Offside's the first flag, that is declined, and the second is the face mask, and will put Round Rock into Ranger territory. For example, right now to the secondary, you see Christian Romano at corner for the Rangers. One of the safeties is Austin Duncan. At linebacker for the Rangers, you have Jordan Johnson. As Smithson Valley has gotten into the 2nd and 3rd team players. Also a linebacker, Leo Garcia. From the 43, a flag flies in again. Smart, the keeper again, breaks a couple of tackles and finally forced down to the 39 for a 4-yard gain. As we have another flag check out here, is coming into the game for the Rangers now is Cesar Mascoro.
I'm just sitting here looking at the body language of Coach Larry Hill, and I'm thinking just like he is right here. We're trying to keep this clock moving in a 50-3 game, and yet we keep doing things that stop the clock.
Well, that, and as this flag is against the Rangers, this is the opportunity for these, 2nd, 3rd, maybe in some cases 4-team players to, have their moment and show what they're made of. If you're committing penalties, you're not going to get much more playing time moving forward. 1st and 5, 8:30 to go, 4th quarter. Rangers on top, 50-3. Smart remains at quarterback for the Dragons. It's a running play on 1st down. A tackle broken to the backfield. It's Pena exploding across the 20, inside the 15, inside the 5, and finally stood up out around the 4-yard line. Boy, what a burst there by Malik Pena, having a nice game tonight. Was running well against the Ranger 1st team players and blows by the backups.
This is a young man. Let me go back to the Ranger defense. Didn't give up a touchdown last week. Hasn't given them one up this week. Second teamers, first team. It doesn't really matter. There's a motto: when you can keep someone out of the end zone for the entire game, that's something pretty important.
First to go for the 4. Smart keeps it himself, the quarterback, slicing back up inside, and is dragged down at around the 2 to bring up second down and goal. And yes, the last touchdown the Rangers gave up was on a draw play. Remember that? It was, second and 22 from the Ranger 40-yard line when Hendrickson scored on the touchdown with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of week 1.
Yep.
Last end zone trip for a Ranger opponent this year.
And this is a tough chore, first and goal from the 4.
High formation on second and goal. Pena the call, and Pena is stopped short. In fact, no gain. Back to the 2-yard line, that's it. Third and goal coming up in what I would imagine is 4-down territory for Round Rock.
I don't know any other reason to not. Coach is trying to get the play in. Some confusion now. Another offensive player runs onto the field.
You do look at Round Rock's personnel, still a lot of the first teamers out there right now.
Ooh.
Third and goal for the 2. Pena's number called again, and again is brought down short of the goal line. Well, once that field is condensed, Smithson Valley's defense has been able to converge on Pena.
Jordan Johnson down there doing the dirty work.
And now 4th and goal. And again, not that 7 points here changes a lot of things, but 3 points doesn't do anything either.
Right.
So Round Rock will go for it here. Back at the quarterback is Waz. And the slot is Miller to the right side. 4th and goal. Handoff to Brown to his right, cutting it back up the middle, and he's in for Round Rock's first touchdown this evening.
Nice scheme. Got him running around the edge, gave him some momentum when he turned the corner, and he got one good block on the edge to seal the end, and that gave Brown a chance to get into the end zone.
Again, Marquise Brown is a sophomore last year, nearly 1,000 yards rushing. Great speed, 4.5 time of the 40, and has had some good runs so far tonight. So here is Codillo for the PAT, and that kick is good. 5:51 left, fourth quarter. Rangers on top by 40, 50-10. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No, sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came here to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
Back out at Ranger Stadium, 5:51 left, fourth quarter. The Dragons in the end zone for the first time, but too much wood to chop right now, not enough time to do it. Down by 40 as Codillo comes out for the kickoff. Following a 4th and goal, 2-yard touchdown run by Marquise Brown. Short kickoff and fielded at the 25. Ranger returner is spun around at around the 32. And so again, we expect a lot of the Ranger reserves to finish this game off with 5:44 to go, leading 50-10, and with Steele in their sights 7 days from now.
It's going to be a fun week, I'm sure, in practice, and not much more exciting things happen than your district opener, because that's always a point of emphasis, and when you're facing one of the best 5 or 6 teams in the state, it makes it even more impressive.
Now, the Rangers and Knights have been tied to the hip in a district for 4 straight years now, And Steele has had the Rangers' number, have yet to clear that hurdle, but the games have been really, really good.
Yes, they have.
New quarterback in as the first down play yields about a yard to the 33-yard line. New quarterback in for the Rangers after that running play is Christian Hallam. Played varsity a year ago, third-string quarterback on this year's team. That running play went to Garcia. They'll give him 2 yards to make it second down at 8 with 5:20 left.
Talked about how many first downs you could put together here. Keep that clock running and maybe run out the clock if you can get enough of them.
And we'll do the best we can to identify some of the players out there right now. As the Rangers have gone deep into the bench, Hallam hands off on second and 8. Nice run. And spinning down to the 39-yard line is Dane Spencer. The junior running back turns out about 6 yards there to bring it up to a third down and 2.
Manageable for sure.
Some of the players on that offensive line right now include Mark Cravens and Mark Hopkins on that right side. Rangers chewing up some clock. Under 4:30 to go, leading 50-10. Get at receiver, Chris Rivera. Third down and 3. Rivera, the motion man, takes the handoff, running left, finds an alley, 45, and down inside of midfield. A head-first attempt there by Rivera right into the defender's chest and takes him down to the 48-yard line.
Brian Guerra was sitting there ready to make a tackle, and I'm sorry, but he ran into a buzzsaw when Rivera just ran right through him. Now, penalty's going to bring it back, but I think Rivera, that's a nice-looking run to turn and run right into that defensive back and run right through him.
Rivera is all of 5'6" at $145, played about 4 inches taller there and 50 pounds heavier.
Well, Brian Guerra, we don't know how big he is, but he took the worst of that beating.
Also in right now, the Ranger personnel. Bobby Palomine is out there, one of the backup tight ends.
So we went from a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and what, 16?
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as manageable.
Now 3rd and 16 at their own 25-yard line. They have to reach their own 41 for the first. And Hallam will throw. Going far side, has a receiver, but well short of the first down. The catch was made by Ryan Hill. And the Rangers on 4th down will punt. Clock will tick inside of 3 minutes by the time the Dragons get the football back.
Or are they going for it?
Well, the punt team is not coming out, and now it does. And Coach Hill's kind of wondering what took him so long.
Different punter?
It's Michael Hilston back to punt for Smithson Valley. Was the team's primary punter a year ago. Brant Anderson was the backup, and now Anderson has the duties to himself when the game is closer. And now Coach Hill calls for time with 2:59 left in the game, and the Rangers on top 50-10.
Again, in the realm of one of those, why do you call a timeout there? But I saw a player standing next to the coach right there, and maybe someone should have been on the field who wasn't. That would be my guess.
If you look back at the scoring of this game, if you recall, the Rangers scored on their first 3 possessions and jumped out to a 20-0 lead by the end of the first quarter. 2 field goals, 1 for each team in the second. It was a 23-3 game at the end of the first half. And then Smithson Valley, with 2 defensive touchdowns and 2 offensive in the third quarter, pulled away and led 50-3 going into the fourth, and a touchdown moments ago by Round Rock to make it 50-10. Wobbly punt by Hilston. And will roll inside the 35. A Ranger roll down to the 29-yard line. 40-yard punt, no return for the Dragons. 2:45 to go, and what could be and likely will be Round Rock's final possession tonight.
Again, you look at what they've got to go on. They'll be 0-3. They've got to see if they can just become more efficient on offense and see if their defense can tackle better.
A few more snaps for Trevor Waz at his starting debut. At quarterback for Round Rock, and he is punished back to the 25 on the first down play. Ranger making the play there was Brian Robles.
Okay, you're an option type scenario. Hand it to the fullback. You read the end, whether or not you give him the ball. The end is standing there in your face, and you don't give him the ball. What do you think's going to happen? Maybe just a bad read on that play.
Again, sophomore, limited playing time. Probably a mistake that you're able to foresee if you're his head coach right now. Trial by fire. Second down, 14. Keeper this time with his own replay. Rangers, though, really good defending that as the play is stopped around the 24. That's going to set up third down and 14 with 1:50 to go in the game.
If you're Round Rock, do you throw the ball here?
They haven't thrown well all night tonight. So far, not a whole lot in the passing game for the Dragons. Their lone big play was to Garrett Miller earlier in the game. He's still in there right now, by the way.
Yeah.
And lined up in the slot.
If you're going to throw it, do you throw it to him? Better.
3rd and 15. And Waz will hand it off with a draw. That's Pena trying to get outside 30, 35, across the 40 and a first down. Good play design, good execution there by Round Rock. That's good for about 22 yards, and Pena's nice night continues.
Really good-looking runner he is.
In fact, with that carry, Pena now over 100 yards on the night for the second week in a row. Continues to be a bright spot at a team that's about to fall to 0-3. Under a minute left. Pena's number called again up the middle. It's a flag flies in, and Pena is dragged down at around the 49-yard line.
Rangers lined up offsides again.
Said that far too often here in the second half. So everybody in the film room better pay close attention. You know, there's some games, right, like in the opener, for example, not many 3s and 4s got out there.
Right.
There was, other than watching other guys make mistakes or good plays, nothing that they could look back at themselves doing, and it's a different story here this evening. Clock ticking, 25 seconds to go. 1st and 5 for the offense that it gave to Pena, trying to take it to the outside, and instead is taken down. At around the 49, could be the game's final play, as we're now down to the final 10 seconds.
Nice open field tackle by Weston Mays, the junior that time.
And that, in fact, will do it.
Pardon me, he's a senior.
So, Smithson Valley 3-0, and now finished with non-district play as they roll for the second week in a row. Final score from Ranger Stadium, Smithson Valley 50, Round Rock 10. Post-game coverage coming up. This is Smithson Valley football on the Rangers Network.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelic, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sandejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
Here we go. Tie ball game with just 2 seconds left on the clock, and the Rangers are looking to score. Here's a snap. Bayless, who was wide open down the near sideline. And he makes a catch at the 10, the 5, touchdown. My goodness, what a play, and the Rangers win.
When you're ready for a break, hurry in to Chicken Express. Let us do all the cooking for you. We always offer high-quality, affordable meals that the entire family will enjoy. Our chicken is never frozen and it's hand-battered fresh, so you can really taste the difference. You can expect fast and friendly service at Chicken Express, whether you dine in, drive through, or drive up. Hurry in and hurry back to Chicken Express.
And welcome back to Ranger Stadium. Final score tonight, Smithson Valley 50 and Round Rock 10. Here on the Rangers Network, Brant Freeman with Tony Brubaker. And Tony, the Rangers were up by 20 at halftime. You felt as if the lead was comfortable, but also at the same time thought that Round Rock was a play or two away from being back into the game, but that door shut quickly.
I think what Jeff and I talked about last week is the kind of the edge that the Rangers started the game with and continued through most of this. And what we saw in the third quarter to me was impressive in the sense that they came out with that same intensity and that same edge. Even with a lead of 23-3, they knew they had to do something good at the start of the third quarter to make things, put things away quickly, and they did that. And I think that's impressive that they came out of a halftime locker room with that kind of emphasis on making plays.
The funny thing, when you're looking at the numbers of this game, Smithson Valley's total yardage, 330, doesn't sound like a big number. They had short fields the entire night tonight. We don't have this exact number, but I have to imagine our average starting field position had to have been around their own 45-yard line.
I don't think there's any doubt that from the get-go they were having good field position. And then the turnovers in the third quarter obviously give you points without worrying about anything like that, and you don't get yardage out of that. And I just think everybody that took the field tonight did something good offensively, and I think that really showed well of how well they were prepared.
Of the Rangers' 330 yards, it was a very balanced attack. 173 through the air, 157 on the ground. Big night. Levi Williams threw for 3 touchdown passes, hooked up with Trevon Merrick-Woodard twice, and also found a dorsal hunter. The Rangers' top rusher in this game was Mason Pierce, had 1 receiver carry for 51 yards. Nice night as well by Nick Aiken, 9 carries, 44 yards. Should note Williams had a rushing touchdown as well on top of his 3 touchdown night throwing the football. Top receiver was Woodard, the 2 catches here this evening for 75 yards and the 2 touchdowns. Brant Anderson, by the way, in garbage time, had a 41-yard touchdown of his own that was thrown by the backup quarterback, Colton Eilers. And again, the Ranger defense does its job, holding the Dragons to only 10 points. Their lone touchdown coming when the game was well decided. So all 3 phases tonight, Tony, Smithson Valley far and away the better team.
We've talked about it. Mason Reed missed a couple of extra points, yet he did so many other things well tonight and did some really good things that I think even the kicking game seems to be really advantageous. Kick coverage has been good all year long. I think the Rangers are playing at a very high level right now, and as we've said a couple of times, they're going to need to going into next week's game against Steele.
And that will do it for our broadcaster tonight. Again, our next broadcast coming up next Friday in Schertz as Smithson Valley opens 27-6A play against the Steele Knights. Our coverage starts at 7:15 next Friday. Kickoff is at 7:30. I want to thank our statistician, Jeff Gandy, my broadcast partner, Tony Brubaker, and our entire Rangers Network crew. I'm Brant Freeman saying once again the final score, Smithson Valley 50, Round Rock 10. From Ranger Stadium, good night, and may tomorrow be that much better.